Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell. I'm Adam the Bull. A lot on the docket here today, guys. We've got Mike, Anthony, and Steve behind the glass. We're talking Guardians-Yankees Game 3. We're talking about the return of Nick Chubb and a whole lot more. How you doing, guys?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to take this time out to say that if Adam the Bull refers to a restaurant for you to try out, 1,000% try it out, because Bull been telling me about Taco Bell's breakfast for about a month now, right?
At least.
And I couldn't find a Taco Bell that had breakfast. Everyone I went to said that they weren't serving breakfast. So today, I was dropping my kids off at their grandmother's house in Worcester, and as I was making my way back to the highway, said breakfast. I said, "Oh yeah, this is it. It's the moment in time to shine."
Yeah.
So I get in there and I get the crunch wrap.
What'd you get with bacon?
No, I did sausage.
Oh, sausage.
Yeah,
All right.
and I was like, so I'm looking at it. First of all, a little smaller than I thought.
Yeah, it's not huge.
I thought it was gonna be like the regular crunch wrap size,
Yeah.
but it was smaller than that. So I'm like, okay, let me see. So I ate it. And I'm like, ooh, pressure! That boy Bull had me singing tunes. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
You got busy?
Man, it vanished. The little. First of all, it's about the size of my hand.
Putting the hash brown in there.
It was gone. It was
awesome.
gone, bro. If you ain't had Taco
Best
Bell
fast food breakfast. Best fast food breakfast.
I'm not willing to go there because I do
like better?
I do like Chick-fil-A's breakfast better.
Okay, that's good. Have you ever had this thing called Bojangles?
Mr.
No,
Bo.
they getting that.
Oh.
First of all, that's a Southern thing. Secondly,
Bojangles be hit that breakfast.
they getting one actually in Columbus, so I'm gonna check it out when they build it in Columbus.
Man, make sure you get that. Man, they got these. Yeah, I'm trying not to do all that, man. Before y'all even start, I know how to chat get, man. I already know how to chat get. Don't be asking me about my hat. No, I'm not rooting for the Dodgers. Y'all kill me with that, man. Earl done told you and explained to you before.
Come on. Fans don't know this by now?
It's cultural appropriation. Black people get an opportunity to wear any hats as long as it match their doggone outfit. Y'all keep asking the same question.
I go against that.
Well, listen, here's the thing, too.
Today, obviously, it matches, but
Now,
typically, my hat never matches.
There are some rules. You will never see me wear anything Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
Yankees? What about Yankees?
Oh, no,
Yankees is
better not.
They're playing the Guardians right now. You can't wear that.
I'm not going to wear a Yankees hat while they're playing the Guardians, but like...
But you can in general.
But that's part of your uniform. I talked to CC Sabathia co-signed it.
Okay. No AFC North teams, period?
No, I'm not wearing none of that. And then I don't do, like, in basketball, certain teams, like you can't. I don't really do no Golden State Warriors type joints.
Only white people wear Celtic stuff.
Yeah, Celtic stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But as long as it match, you know what I'm saying. That's just how we getting up. And y'all be mad at that, man. If y'all
only white people.
if y'all wanna join the black community, you gotta send in that waiver form and you gotta trade somebody.
By the way, speaking of the black community, I was this morning.
Be careful.
Yeah. This morning I'm driving in. I wasn't driving in. I was driving my son to school, and this song came on. It was a rap song from the '90s, which was my era.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry, not even the '90s, the '80s.
He was a Beastie Boys guy.
You was a
DMC. I hadn't
guy.
heard this song in forever, and I love this song. And I hadn't heard it forever, and I start singing all the lyrics. And my son's looking at me like, how do you know the lyrics?
Was the baby got back?
It's Rob Bass and it came to get down.
Oh,
I'm not internationally known, but I know throughout the microphone. And I was like, and he's like, what? What is happening? I love that song.
You gotta get him.
Rob Bass and who? It's Rob Bass and somebody. I can't remember who it is.
That's
You're not a fan?
That is the starter kit for I Have a Black Friend Too. like they'd be like, how you know you got black friends? Well, I wouldn't have any black friends if I didn't know this song. Turn that up, DJ. And he'd be like, golly.
That's a classic. Though.
Yeah, that is.
I like
that's
that.
good.
Yeah, shout out to
I
them.
don't know. Anyway, Mike, let's get to some sports. If we can get you going here, let's see what you got.
Oh, so
By the
let's
way,
get-
Mike and Anthony,
What is this hat that you?
they dress like you'd think it was 10 degrees in here. The way the two of them dress every day.
Okay, upstairs is frigid.
Yeah, that is.
Frigid
That
upstairs.
is a big hoodie.
Although you guys are all wearing long sleeves. I don't ever wear long sleeves on the show. I don't think I've ever once.
When I
worn
woke
long
up and walked out, it was like 34 degrees today.
My son wore a T-shirt and shorts to school today.
No wonder he's always sick. Well, your
don't
kid's always sick
Thank
because he's
you.
walking outside.
You know
in
what?
34
Go ahead, talk
degrees
to
with
him.
shorts and a
Myth.
t-shirt.
Thank you.
Yes,
Talk
That's
to
a
him.
myth. You don't get sick from.
Your son
It's
is
cold
one.
out here.
Your son is one of them guys that go. It's 50 degrees, so that shorts weather.
Yeah, and that was me. I was like that
Hey,
too. And by the way, I was
that's
like that
wrong.
too, and I never got sick when I was a
Man,
kid.
listen.
And I still rarely get sick.
When I was in school, I went to all white schools. It was just me and this other dude named Lucas Tyndall and his cousin.
Did you?
That was it?
Was you comfortable like that?
No,
I was explaining to my wife about this scenario the other day.
I was the
It was
only.
really just two black
It
kids
was
in the
like
whole
three.
school?
It was three black kids, right? You know what I'm saying?
It makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling than going to a place where it's a bunch of white people and then you see just one black person. It's like it's a calming
You're like,
feeling.
yes.
It is. It's just like, it is. I don't know why, but it's just a calming
Yeah.
feeling.
Well,
All right.
there's a psychological thing called collective identity that black people have. They say it's, no, I'm not going to go there because people always, G. Bush is always making about race. But this is about race. It was only me and a couple black people that was in the school at the time. And so there would be certain things where it would be like, everybody could wear shorts whenever they wanted to. You know, like
Right.
white kids be emancipated. Like they could, like they be having rights and stuff like at 12. Like y'all be having to knock on their door. Can I come in? My mom be kicking the door. What you doing in there? But I'm like, man, so back then they used to all be able to wear shorts. And I couldn't wear no shorts because my mom used to be like, that's pneumonia weather. We could never wear no shorts to Memorial Day. And you know, school is like, Memorial Day is like kind of like, Memorial Day is like what? Like,
It's the end of school.
Just in the school. I said, so
Yeah.
so I gotta wear jeans and sweats the whole time. And I'm like, bro, they already think I'm
y'all
weird.
ain't had dress code?
Man, no, they got that off. As soon as, as
So
soon
y'all
as-
got to
man,
wear jeans and all that.
we had to wear jeans.
Well, you had to dress up. for
What?
school?
Yes.
What, you go to Catholic school?
No, that's the sick part.
What kind of public school
I went
you have
to
to get
Beverly
dressed up?
High School, and they said uniforms. You could wear whatever shoes, uniforms.
What?
And you had to. Your logo couldn't be no bigger than a quarter, so people couldn't come in
what
with
do
the
you mean
big horse polos.
What do you mean uniforms? Like
Polo khakis.
Oh, I see. Not like a specific
no, I
school
ain't wearing.
uniform.
No. They ain't getting that off.
That's
Damn.
wild. Like,
Yeah.
see, that's
You had to wear khakis?
We didn't have that. We didn't have
Dress
that,
back.
man.
I don't even wear khakis as an adult, let alone as a kid.
Yeah, they weren't having it.
Have I told the story about when I got in trouble in school because my shorts were too short?
No, tell it, and then we'll hop into the
That's-
garden.
Right. Is this crazy?
That's
like,
crazy.
Obviously,
They gotta be finger lift.
obviously,
finger,
you guys know me. Like,
That's crazy.
I wasn't trying to show off my legs, you know.
That was nasty.
But I
man.
wore.
You ain't
There was
that
a
thigh. You gotta show,
well. Here was
show the girls
they
that
had
thigh.
they had a rule in my junior high school, middle school, but we call it junior high, that you couldn't. Your shorts had to reach the knee. Now they made that rule for the girls,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But because it had to be fair, it had to be for everybody. And I'm like, I don't even think about it. Like, I was probably just like, my shorts were getting a little too small. I needed a new pair, whatever. So they were a little shorter than my. And then my mom had to come bring me another pair of pants.
Bro, they was
How
like,
stupid is that?
bro, they let me find out Bull was showing his thighs.
That's what he was doing. He's like, look at that. I've been,
Please,
working,
I
I've been
wish.
doing my squats. Look, let that little thigh muscle hang out.
Who's that? He over there thick.
Dude, I wish. I was getting no action, man.
All right, let's go.
Let me tell you something. I would have loved to hook up with Jennifer Donadio
Is she still alive?
and Gloria Grasso.
You still remember the names?
Yeah, they were the only two girls that had boobs in the junior high. Jennifer Donadio, man.
Mike, save us.
Jeez,
All right, guys, let's
she
get
was she
into
was a beautiful
our
girl.
first topic of the day, which will start with some Guardians, and that is going to be brought to us by FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Game 3 tonight, Bowl. Guards Yanks, 5:08 first pitch. It is the earlier of two ALCS games, which I am also a fan of. Matthew Boyd on the mound, Clark Schmidt on the mound for the Yankees. Boyd went, 2 innings in his last start in Game 5 against the Tigers. They need more from him tonight, I would assume. How do you feel confidence-wise in the pitching matchup with Matthew Boyd going up against Clark Schmidt?
Well, I want to hear from you guys first.
Okay.
Because maybe I'm blinded by my diehardness. So I want to know, as for you guys, how are you feeling tonight about Matthew Boyd giving the Guardians a chance to get back in the series?
I like Matthew Boyd. I thought the last time he was out there was really good. I thought they pulled him a little bit too early. Hopefully they let him go. If he's still cooking like he was cooking after 2, they should leave him in. Matthew Boyd has been a guy that personally I've trusted when he was on the mound. I thought that he does do a really good job of getting guys in and out of those innings. Don't give up a lot of runs, especially in the playoffs. So I respect him being out there. It's more than him, though. Like, to me, when I look at this game, I said this yesterday when I was on the radio. After they lost Game 2, I said the Guardians they're afraid of the G word. You know what the G word is? Great. They're scared to be great because they're unbelievably, they had the bases loaded that many times, that many runners in scoring position, and every time they didn't answer the call. And to me, I think you got the Yankees up against the ropes. Now, obviously, you down 0-2 right now, so it's like they're just seeing Jazz Chisholm come out and say we're world champions. I have no doubt that we're world champions now. So they're feeling really good.
He's out there wearing that head condom. I want to smack him right now.
But last game, you had them against the ropes. Like all you had to do was just swing one more haymaker, and it was done. It was done. You would have broke them, and the fact that y'all didn't. And it's not the fact, and it wasn't like we was asking Will Brandon or something like that. It was Jose. It was Josh. It was the people that you like, your guys that didn't get it done.
Fry too.
The biggest difference between the Guardians and the Yankees is the guys that they depend on as coming through and making the plays. The guys that we depend on aren't. Flat out, simple and plain. That's what it is. Tonight you're at home. You're going to have the fans behind you. There's nothing more that this fan base will love to see y'all beat the Yankees. So there's going to be a lot of energy there, and y'all owe down. Y'all owe us a game. So to me, with Matthew Boyd on the mound, I like it. I think they're going to go out there and win tonight. I think it'll be in a good fashion. I got a nice little 5-2 type of game where the Guardians win and get some confidence.
Gee, I don't sense you were confident in this situation.
Come on now, bull. I watched your little podcast the other day. I watched a little podcast. Post game, and you was on it. You know why? Because even deep down in your heart, you said this. I think I underestimated the Yankees lineup a little bit.
I did say that.
And I'm gonna tell you this: when you got Stanton, Soto, and Judge, even if you get and by the way, like I said before, Rizzo comes back just to kill you.
Yeah, he did.
He kills us listen, this Torres dude at the top of the lineup has been eating us up.
Yep.
You start looking around, all around their lineup, and you ask yourself, where are you getting these outs from? Because you could be rolling, you could be doing your thing. The Guardians had them right where they wanted them until Judge gave them that insurance home run. When you dealing with the Yankees lineup, it don't really matter necessarily what they did in the regular season. They get there, and you still got to deal with the fact that they got 3 to 4 dudes. They got power. And a couple of the home runs. I thought Judge missed a home run.
He did. That was actually a good pitch. I think he and Ohtani are the only players in baseball that could have hit that ball out.
I thought he missed it.
What you mean?
And the ball
Soto
just kept
could have
carrying
did
it.
Couldn't?
Could have.
Yeah, maybe Juan Soto, but not many guys.
When you have those guys in your lineup, and what we starting to see, and I've been trying to switch. I've been trying to flip.
We
the
ain't
narrative.
got no sticks.
I've been trying to flip the narrative. Yes, you have a bullpen. Yes, your bullpen is great, but even the Hunter Gaddises of the world is going to lose sometime to power hitters like that. There's so many high leverage pitches, and you can't make a mistake with them. They make you pay with home runs. We make you pay with singles. It's a levels to this.
They're not doubles.
Well, listen, the Guardians have hit a lot more home runs this year.
They have.
They've hit more home runs in the playoffs this year than they did in 2022.
But it's the Yankees.
They don't have the Yankees' power. That's fair. Specifically on Matthew Boyd, first of all, I actually have a lot of faith in him. I like the way, and this was a guy I had no faith in coming into the Guardians signing him.
Guess who did?
You did. You were all over it. There you go.
Tyvus, the baseball expert.
But Boyd has pitched great for the Yankees. I like that
Guardians.
for the Yankees, for the Guardians. And I like that he's had such good swing and miss. I mean, 46 strikeouts and 39 2/3, that is a impressive number. He's got to get them jump-started with some good innings today because both Cobb and Bybee got off to very shaky starts, leading to them leaving the game early.
They hitting Cobb hard. They hitting Cobb hard.
When Cobb's out.
They got him up out of there.
Well,
They hitting him
He's
hard.
finished for the year.
The
Cobb's done for
Yankees
the
got
year.
him up out of there early.
So that's it. And in terms of him going longer, I mean, he easily could have pitched longer in Game 5. They just chose to take him out, and I understood that. I think if he's pitching like he did his last 2 starts in the playoffs, then I think they will let him go longer here.
they better.
But remember, the good news is if you're winning late, Clase hasn't pitched for 4 days, which is huge at this time of year. He'll go 2 innings today if they need him to. So you have that. Tim Herron didn't pitch much. Cade Smith, he threw like an inning and change, but he didn't throw a ton of pitches.
Like 22 pitches. It wasn't
Yeah, and that was the only time he's pitched in 4 days.
was
So they have the bullpen. However, none of this matters
If they ain't hit.
if Jose and Naylor don't come through with runners on. What's so frustrating
Ducks on the pond.
is that Rocchio and Kwan are on base almost all the time.
Stay on base.
They was calling Rocchio Derek Jeter out there.
I mean, he's
Turned
been
into
phenomenal.
Derek Jeter.
Those 2 guys have been outstanding. They need the 2, 3, and 4 hitters
You know what's interesting about
to
that?
knock them in.
Is when we asked about the X Factor, I said Noel, but then
Yeah.
I said my honest answer was Rocchio.
Rocchio,
The baseball expert.
baseball
now,
expert.
what is Schmidt, left-handed or right?
right-handed.
So that means John Kinsey is not playing again today?
That is correct.
He should play over Brennan. I'm actually.
Well,
th-
it's not-
Say
he should play over
It's not like
Brennan.
he's playing well.
It doesn't matter. Brennan's playing like poop.
Bull, this is. So I don't want to.
He owed me 7 more home runs.
Remember I asked you this.
Yeah.
I said, listen.
The platoons.
Yes, I said.
Yeah.
At what point are you getting diminishing returns? Why don't you just pick a dude and give him the at-bats?
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them. I would go with John Kinsey because he's been bad too. He only has 1 hit.
Yeah.
You look at their 2 platoons. John Kinsey has 1 hit in the playoffs. Brennan has 1 hit in the playoffs. Bo Naylor has 0 hits in the playoffs, and Austin Hedges has 0 hits in the playoffs. But I would right now, if I were Stephen Vogt. Now I don't think he's going to do this, but if I were him, I would make John Kinsey, and believe it or not, I cannot believe I'm saying this, Austin Hedges, their starters for the rest of these series. And here's why. None of them can hit right now. None of them.
The gloves.
Well, not
Go
even,
ahead.
with Hedges, it's the glove.
But
he is a veteran. He's going to stop those balls in the dirt. And Bo Naylor is out of sorts with that.
That's what I was saying.
Or out of pocket would be more appropriate for this.
If you're not gonna hit,
Yeah.
What happened to putting your chest
Yeah, he did
on the
terrible.
ground and blocking the ball?
I said
What
the
happened to
same
that?
That disappeared from Bo Naylor's
And
repertoire.
then all of a sudden, Will Brennan is Ken Griffey Jr. This guy's barehanding the ball, trying to come up throwing. I said, who does that, Will?
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Let me ask you a
Yeah.
question, though.
But wait, let me just finish this 1 second.
Go ahead.
The reason I play John Kinsey over Brennan, it's not John Kinsey has played well defensively, but it's not with him. It's not even that. It's that even though looks pretty lost at the plate
The
right
threat.
now.
If he hit it.
What's that?
The threat.
It's the threat of the home run
it's the
with
threat
him,
of it.
which you don't have with Brennan. So if you make a mistake, listen, John Kinsey could strike out 9 of the next 10 at bats, but if you make a mistake once, he might get you in a big spot. And so for that reason, and yes, his defense has been better than Brennan significantly. I would just I would keep the The only platoon I would do, I guess I would consider, and what sucks really
Rocchio at the 2.
is that Fry can't play the field right now. Because if Fry could play the field, I could play Fry and right. I could play Fry at catcher. Because I'd like Fry and Manzardo to both be in the lineup every day.
Did his body just fall apart?
His arm is messed up. He can't really throw.
Okay.
Remember the first half of the year, he was playing a lot of outfield catcher.
Yeah.
Second half, he's only been a DH, and that's because of his arm. His arm's effed up.
Let me
So
ask
he can't
you,
throw.
for the casual fan like myself, maybe I'm a little bit more than a casual.
You're more than casual.
But my baseball expertise stopped in high school.
Okay.
Why is it so difficult for a right-handed hitter to hit a right-handed pitcher? Or why don't people like that?
I don't know that it's not. I mean, for some guys, it's difficult.
Because I was about to take Jay right over the fence.
The bigger thing is lefties facing lefties.
Yeah.
And that's because, like righties. If you play baseball, most of the pitchers are righties.
Exactly.
And so, as a righty, it doesn't matter as much. There are some righties. The platoon with Manzardo and Fry is more about Manzardo's really good against righties rather than Fry can't necessarily hit righties, although he hasn't been as good against righties. Mm-hmm. It's the lefty-lefty thing. There's a lot of left-handed hitters that struggle against left-handed pitching. Part of it is you just don't see it a lot. And some of it is the nature of the left-handed swing compared to the way the left-handed pitch comes in. And a lot of lefties, for a variety of reasons, there's not really one specific reason. There's not one catch-all. But a lot of lefties struggle against lefties. You see, like, Kerry Carpenter of the Tigers.
Yeah.
He's, like, this guy's an all-star against right-handed pitching. But he can't hit lefties. Jock Peterson, Arizona Diamondback, never starts against lefties. Josh Naylor was like that for a while.
It's a vision thing, right?
What's that?
It's a vision thing from the hitter's perspective.
I mean, that's a big part of it. It's not being used to facing a ton of lefties. The way the ball moves from a lefty with a lefty hitter, and lefties tend to have more of a looping swing, kind of, for whatever reason.
It just seems like when they throw a curveball or a slider on the outside part of the plate, that's automatic. That's automatically they be looking crazy.
Yeah. It's hard.
Well, that was sorry to interrupt, but in Game 2 when the Mets played the Dodgers, Sean Manaea, who's not a really good pitcher.
Well, he's had a great year.
But he's had a good year because he changed, and now he throws. They were telling a story on the broadcast.
Yeah.
He throws in the bullpen when he's warming up from one mound to the opposite side catcher because he's focused so much on changing the angle of his delivery.
Right.
And hiding the ball to lefties as much as humanly possible. That he throws across his body from the furthest side of the mound. And lefties don't pick it up till it's too late.
It's hard because because the world is like 90% of people are right-handed.
Except me.
I thought it's like 14.
I'm a lefty too.
I thought lefties was 14%
in baseball.
Like in the world, the general population.
Maybe it's 14. I thought it was 10, but it could be either way. It's a small percentage.
So I always wanted to know, why does that matter?
It's really. I don't think the righty matters as much. It's more the lefty situation. But I mean, they got to come through in the clutch, and they've been sloppy in the field. Even Rocchio, as great as he's been, he can't drop that pop-up.
Yeah.
Now, I know, that's probably one of the highest pop-ups I've ever seen in baseball. That ball was in the air forever.
Yeah.
But he's got to catch that ball. That was like a Little League thing there.
I've never seen, for this team, I think they got to get off to it. They have to get off. They got to get off to a good start.
Yes, absolutely. Got to take the lead.
This team plays night and day different from when they get the lead. They just seem to have a better energy. They have more of a killer instinct. I think the thing that they can't do in Game 3 is this is the worst nightmare for me. The Yankees, score a couple early runs, and then the Guardians scored a run. And the Yankees put another run on, and then the Guardians try to put another.
Constantly catching up.
That catch-up game does not work very well, and I think you expend a lot of energy and puts a lot of pressure on you when you're trying to get runners, because then it becomes can we get guys on base? Can we get guys to knock them in? So
I agree. I think it's absolutely imperative for them to score early, score first. Also, another reason for it is the crowd.
Yeah.
You got to keep the crowd in. We know there's going to be a decent amount of Yankee fans. We don't want them to get in control of the crowd.
What do you think the role of home field advantage plays tonight for the?
I think it's big.
Both
first
sides,
of all,
really, but the Guardians.
First of all, when you play at your home park, little intricacies about the field. Hey, in this spot, it's going to carry here, and there's little things. The Yankees played here once this year, The Guardians have played 80-something games here, right? Plus, there's a reason why the Guardians have a much better home record than road record.
Yeah.
You know, you're sleeping in your own bed. You know the field better. You know the way the ball carries. You know the way the ball bounces in certain spots. And that's an advantage that kind of gets ignored. And you have the crowd. The crowd making noise. Players, feed off of that stuff.
Yeah, you do.
We don't think about that as much in baseball as we do like in basketball and football. But it matters. You feed off the crowd.
You hit that when Lane hit that home run.
Yeah, place is going bonkers.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put a little pressure on the Yankees. Right now, I feel like the Yankees is playing carefree. Like, they lose. You look at it in the dugout. They playing loose. Guys,
100%.
Yeah, the guys is just and you always know you playing loose when dudes like Chisholm start talking.
Oh yeah.
when the third tier guys start yapping, you're like, oh y'all feeling way too.
They don't take the Guardians seriously.
Not at all.
The Guardians should play this game they're being disrespected. Now I did this so in our game, our championship game for my older kids last week. They intentionally walked, which never happens in Little League.
Never.
And I screamed over at the other bench. I was like, intentional walk? What are you doing?
That's chicken shit for the record. That's so Bush League.
I gave my guy George.
That's so Bush League.
I gave my guy George, I gave him a hard time. I was like, so he walked, one of our best hitters. And another one of my kids comes up, at pinch hit. Or not the pinch hit, because he was up next, this kid. Paul, really good kid, good ball player. And I called timeout right before he came up. I said, Paul, come here. I said this to the kid.
Bun it.
I said, this effing team just disrespected you. Make them pay. And he walked. So he got on base.
He got on base. That's all that matters.
But it ended up.
And he proceeded to jump into a
pitch. But let me tell you something.
I was not expecting him to say that.
Yeah.
A very anticlimactic ending
Yeah,
to a great story.
But here's the thing. It was 6-6 going to the last inning. So it's 6 innings in Little League, right? In fall ball. But we were up in the top of the 6th championship game, and we ended up both of those kids ended up scoring. The kid they intentionally walked and the kid that walked after him both scored. We ended up winning 10-6. Didn't work. We won the game, and now we're going to win another championship this Sunday with my younger kids. Let's go. Let's go.
Last point on the Guards, and we're going to pivot to the Browns. We're going to come back and give our predictions for the game at the end of the show, so make sure you guys stick around for our predictions. But, Tyvis, you said Brian Rocchio would have been your X factor if you didn't pick Noel. Give me one guy tonight who you are circling, not Jose, not Naylor, but a mid-level guy, a guy who's not one of the stars, that you think has to play well for the Guardians to pick up a dub.
You know who I think who's going to give us a nice offensive performance tonight? Jimenez.
Okay.
I feel it.
See that.
Why? Like, I know you. Yeah, I know you. Foo huffing. What are you? The big bad wolf over there? Listen, Jimenez. You know why? Because he watched this show and he just see your reaction right there.
I hope so.
And he said, you know what? He said, you know what, TP, I got you. I'm gonna come through because he see Rocchio balling. Yeah. He know what Jason talking about. We should keep Rocchio, get rid of Jimenez, all that jazz. So he like, it's time for me to earn my contract, earn my keep. He gonna come through with a nice double today. That's gonna get an RBI.
I like that.
Put it on the parlay.
Who's your guy?
Listen, I'm still his old dude. I'm gonna take Christmas in October. You know what I'm saying?
On the DH side?
The mid-level exception of the game will be, mid-level exception is going to be Big Christmas.
Okay.
He's going to get it done. I think he's going to need to hit a home run in these next couple of games, either this one or the next one, or they're going to be going home quick. They need to get this win at all costs, though, because you got to win this game because it's a foregone conclusion. The Yankees might even punt on Game 4. They might punt on Game 4 and
just
put
to
out
celebrate at home.
We're going to the crib, like, you know what I'm saying. You know how they and it's hard. I need to go back to Yankee Stadium.
Well, you got to win 2 to get back to Yankee Stadium.
Well, no, we got to get that. Like, I got faith that they can do it. But they got to execute, man. They got to get runners in scoring position. You can't be up there. You got to lock in. That's when the good hitters get paid. When it's 2 outs, 2 strikes, it's second and third. Hey, those are game-changing at-bats. And right now, you know, the Yankees, their guys is getting to it. And they hit with power. So
nobody thought the Guardians would be good at the beginning of the season. They were good. A lot of people jumped off the bandwagon when they struggled in July and August. They bounced back. Yes, through 2 games, the Yankees look like the better team, but a lot of that is because the Guardians have shot themselves in the foot. Not because the Yankees have been that great. Aaron Judge had done nothing in the playoffs until that home run. I know that was a big home run, but it's not like he's been sizzling hot. Yeah, Soto's been great, and Rizzo's been clutch. And their lineup right now is playing deeper than it has for most of the season. But the truth is, the Yankees are throwing pitchers in the next 3 days that aren't anything special. The Guardians are at home, and it's not a fluke that they only won 1 less game than the Yankees during the regular season. These teams are much closer than they've played in these 2 games, and the Guardians have to show that out at home. Kyle Manzardo, Matthew Boyd's going to pitch well today. I got him with 7 strikeouts, 5 innings, 7 Ks, 1 run, and I've got Kyle Manzardo being the X factor in this game. He's going yard in this one. And we'll give the prediction later.
I think and here's another thing too. I just think that they should have had Manzardo playing during the year, so they could have got him ready for the playoffs. Because that's another stick that you could have that has some power, has some pop.
They shouldn't have waited until September on him. That was a mistake.
They waited him out too long.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Let's talk a little Nick Chubb, guys. We'll give our predictions for the Guardians-Yankees Game 3 at the end of the show. And today's Nick Chubb topic is brought to us by Leaf Filter. Cleveland Browns fans are some of the toughest fans in the world. They've sustained and overcome a ton of adversity and some long seasons. And the only thing comparable to how tough Cleveland Browns fans are is Leaf Filter. There's only one Cleveland and only one gutter guard that's tough enough for the toughest fans in the world, and that is Leaf Filter. Leaf Filter's been protecting gutters in Northeast Ohio for nearly 2 decades now. Leaf Filter is your permanent solution to clogged gutters. Every installation comes with a lifetime no clogs guarantee. Leaf Filter uses award-winning patented technology to keep out everything but water. No holes, no gaps, or large openings for debris to get through. Over 1 million homeowners have trusted Leaf Filter in the past. You can become the next in that line. Schedule your free inspection now, and for a limited time, get up to 32% off your entire qualified purchase and 2 free Browns jerseys at leaffilter.com/UCSS. That's a free inspection, up to 32% off, and 2 free Browns jerseys with a qualified purchase at leaffilter.com/UCSS. Offer valid on a first-come, first-served basis while supplies last. Full terms and conditions can be found at leaffilter.com/UCSS. See representatives for warranty details. Nick Chubb is coming back on Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. And Tyvis, what should fans realistically expect from Nick Chubb in his 2024 season debut?
Realistic expectations? Realistically, this is a guy that's coming back off of literally blowing his leg out. So I would expect 7 carries.
Really? Think it's going to be that low?
7, yeah, something like 7, maybe 7 to 10 carries, somewhere around 50, 60 yards. I do think that he will move fine, though. I think we'll see him and be like, oh, he's moving pretty good. I don't know if he'll be vintage Nick Chubb. I think it'll take some time, obviously, with conditioning and just getting used to it again. My biggest thing for me is when one of these DBs attack him low, try to tackle him low, how does he respond? Is he still running through contact, or is he going tense up? Like, that to me is the thing that I truly want to see from him. If he's still running and picking them knees up and putting them down on contact, then he's got a chance to get back to being what he was. I do want to see what his top end speed will be, but the way this offensive line is playing, I don't know if we'll get a chance. Stefanski's gonna have to get creative, which G makes me laugh about just thinking about that part. But if he could break one, and I get to see his top end speed, if he's still able to, get away from people, he could definitely make it back to where he once was.
G, you think his carry total will be that low?
It's weird. And, last 2 days, I just been sitting around looking around stuff. I couldn't talk, so I just was consuming as much information as I could. So, man, it all depends on what world or alternate universe the Cleveland Browns offensive staff is in. We continue to talk about it. One thing I did look at the All-22, and I will say is there was some semblances of some run stuff that I hadn't seen earlier this year. I thought they got under center, and the under center runs were a lot better. You started to see guys come off the football. They started to do some different things. I don't know if that was in preparation for Nick Chubb coming back, but if he's healthy, and I'm running them. Listen, when you clear, you clear. You hear. Like, I'm gonna give you the normal dose of yards.
You know, when he was cleared, they wouldn't even give him 20.
That's the problem. That's the problem right there.
That's not true.
They did. That's the
He
problem.
got 20 sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not a lot of backs get 20 carries.
But it's Chubb though. It's
I
Chubb
know.
though.
They
So
was,
I don't know.
They was cautious back then.
They was cautious when he was in his prime. If you think you're gonna get 25 carries, I broke the code. They told me last year, Nathan Zagura, when they believe that Nick Chubb is a back that is better below 18 carries. He's more efficient and more effective back. That wasn't when it was in his prime. So now you do the analytics on that. You extrapolate that over 2 years. He older, knee injury. He probably gonna get you around 12 carries, maybe 13. They might give him 14 if he really moving, if he really doing his thing, right? So I expect somewhere around there. I mean, I'm not gonna put no yardage on it because I don't know what the heck they talking about up front.
I got 16 carries for 84 yards for Nick Chubb in this game.
That would be an amazing
I
game.
think he's going to play well, and I think he's going to get the ball a decent amount. Jerome Ford, I don't know if he's going to play in this game.
He can tweak a
So
hamstring.
Pierre Strong will I think Deontay Foreman, he's out.
I
think it's Strong is the because
I like Pierre Strong.
every time he gets an opportunity, he plays well.
Every time he gets the ball, he shows me
Why are you looking
something.
at like we're crazy?
I said that last year.
I did too.
I like it.
I've been saying that for a whole year.
I like it, man.
I think like Chubb with Pierre Strong is the change of pace back. And maybe they'll use Foreman on to help pick up blitzes.
I told you,
Foreman
Foreman showed his hand to me. It's been 3 times now that I've seen him get the ball on the 1 yard line and get stoned.
Yeah.
Cold.
Right.
Yeah, he has no back seats right now.
But I agree with G's point that like if you cleared, you cleared.
Oh yeah, I agree.
It's
but you should also agree with G's point because G knows that it's a such thing called football shape. And unless you playing football, you ain't getting in shape.
That's a very good point.
I think he sees that Bengals. He's always played well against the Bengals. I mean, he's played well against pretty much every team, but he's played particularly well against the Bengals over the years.
Man, this is an opportunity, and I'm just wondering, like, will the real Kevin Stefanski please stand up?
Please stand up.
Please stand up. Like, are you in there somewhere? Because is over the whole Deshaun Watson thing is I see him playing. I'm starting to get over the whole Kevin Stefanski thing. All you got to do is this. Like, even if you don't got Bill Callahan, right? Look how crazy this is. The way Bill, it's a thing called the internet now. There's a thing called the internet where you can take archives and look at those things.
It's even better than that. It's a thing called, I'm going to go to the video guy and say, give me my most explosive runs from last season.
Give me the greatest hits, the top 20 Bill Callahan runs. And then you know what you do? You go in there with the same offensive lineman that you had before, and you say, hey, you know how we were blocking that before? Let's block it the same way. Let's go back to see what Nick Chubb likes to run. Right? Can we run that?
If they come out there and if they go 5 wide, or they in the shotgun 90% of the time,
it's crazy.
I'm gonna look at him like you really lost your mind. Like you really lost it. And like at this point, you just trying way too hard. Like you really punting on the season.
Can I give you a little preview of something real quick?
Yeah.
We're gonna do our 5 stats for tomorrow, but you mentioned the 5 wide. It has to be scrapped from the playbook. I'll give you some numbers on the Browns and 5 wide this year.
Go ahead.
So part of the reason they went 5 wide and part of the reason they go 5 wide is that is what Deshaun liked to do in high school, at Clemson, and in Houston. From 2017 to 2020.
Go ahead.
His prime years with Houston. From empty sets, 5 wides, or 5 receivers, no one in the backfield. Deshaun led the NFL in empty sets in completion percentage over perspective, passing yards, and he finished 4th in total QBR despite having the most dropbacks. Very prolific. This season in empty sets, he has 56 dropbacks. That's 2nd in the NFL. Geno Smith is the only one with more. There's 24 quarterbacks that qualify for these next 2 stats. He has a 23.2 QBR. That is 23rd out of 24 in empty sets. And he averages 2.7 yards per dropback. That is 22nd out of 24.
Now, to be fair, there aren't many circumstances where he's not near the bottom, are there?
In anything, no, and we'll get into more of that tomorrow. I don't want to dive into all that. I'm just saying from particular
that is
sets,
particularly
they've been
awful,
abysmal.
yeah.
Could we say this, McNuggets? Hey, bro, we don't care what Deshaun Watson wanted to run in high school.
Yeah.
Let me just be clear about that. I just want to and I'm saying this. I don't care what you wanted to run yesterday or today or 3 weeks ago.
I agree.
That's not what it is. You got to run we 1-5 running what you like. We going back to what I like to run.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what get me successful.
See?
No disrespecting nobody, but that's crazy. Like, what are you talking about when you ran in high school?
At the end of the day, you trying to salvage your career. And let me help you. Let me help you out. Listen, I done did it with Case. I done did it with Joe. I done did it with Baker. I done did it with Jacoby. I done did it with whoever you want to say. And we did it this way. And they, guess what? A lot of those guys got jobs right now. If we keep running what you running, you might not have one after this. So let me help you help your career by running it my way. Just do it. I know you don't like to put your back against the defense and run play action. Trust me. It's going to be so wide open when you turn your head around that you can't miss it.
Well, that should have happened. I mean, they should have never tried to change it for him anyway.
I mean, I don't even like that. I don't like that conversation you just had. I'm not asking you nothing.
Yeah, I'm the coach.
yeah.
Like, do you ask your children to clean their rooms? Or after the third time, do you be like...
Nobody, they don't get to 3 times.
Okay.
Actually, this happened last night.
Well, but think about this. That's 3 times, and you know how mad you get for 3 times. This is the third, fourth time that we done heard all offseason we done changed the offense.
I tell you what.
At what point
And if you do tell your... Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
If you do tell your children to do something, then they don't do it, and you allow them to get away with that, that's on you.
Oh, they're gonna embarrass you when your
That's
friends
right.
come over.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I had tuned in yesterday for the Deshaun King interview, and he was talking about. I really liked the part where he was talking about how Andy Reid does a great job of getting his athletes the ball in space.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I started thinking about the Browns, and I was like, Elijah Moore is a guy who they was talking all this and that and all this and that, and they continue to try to make him be this typical wide receiver, and I don't think that's his game. I think it's best when he does have the ball in space. I think he's a more shifty, agile guy. So you got to get him in. Now that Amari's gone, it's got to come from somewhere. Because now the defense goes from, wait, we don't have Amari no more? Okay, then their next best wide receiver is Jerry Jeudy, so let's slide to Jeudy. Now what you going to do? The next person got to step up, and it should be him. First of all, it should be him for multiple reasons. One, he's already upset right now. You got his dad already talking about one target and all this and stuff like that. So he's upset and he's disgruntled. Secondly, he has no choice but to go out there and play as hard as he possibly can. Why? Because he knows he's not going to be here next year, but he definitely want to play somewhere. So
do the Browns even have any other wide receiver? Like, is Cedric Tillman play?
We're going to talk about the receivers and who steps
nobody
up
else.
at a later time.
I don't know.
How many yards does receiving do the rest of the receivers have besides Jerry Jeudy and Cooper?
Well, I'll give you this. Cedric Tillman has 9 more receiving yards than the 4 of us combined this year.
So he's got 9 yards
Lord.
receiving.
Look at this.
How many yards does Elijah
Wait
Moore
a
have?
minute.
Oh, Lord.
Wait a minute. Is Corey watching this show?
I know he just picked up Elijah Moore. in fantasy. Literally,
Corey
as we were
lost
talking
his
about
mind.
Well, hey, so we're going to get to the receivers in a little bit. I want to get back to Nick Chubb for 1 sec because I do think this.
By the way, one thing on Nick Chubb, Mike. I read the. Did you guys see the Players Tribune article that
terrific
he wrote?
article.
Yes, it was wonderful.
So obviously it was a really great article and it was really cool. And as a fan, everybody loved Nick Chubb, but when a player appreciates the fans, that takes it to a whole nother level.
I agree.
Then fans love you even more.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I love you, Cleveland fans. If you tell Cleveland fans you love them,
So you feel
they
like
love
that,
you even
you
more.
feel like that about Miles and Donovan Mitchell?
Sure.
I'm just asking. Grant Delpit.
Did he say that too?
Well, I mean, he was in the tailgate lot at the first.
Yeah, I love that those guys did that.
I'm just-
Totally on
I'm just,
board. But Nick Chubb is held at a reverence more than anybody in this town, I think.
Yeah.
I think right now he is the most lovable athlete in Cleveland.
It's not even close. I don't think it's close.
Between him, Mitchell, and Jose,
Yeah, I think he's number 1.
I think he's on his own tier, and the other 2 are very high. But I agree with.
I think
Cole that Chubb's on
Jose's
his own
second,
tier.
and then Mitchell.
Look, listen, Nick Chubb
Yeah.
is what. That's why I be saying. I heard y'all yesterday. I was just keeping it real. Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb mirrors what this fan base and people in the state of Ohio want out of their athletes. They want you to be durable. They want you to be able to come back from adversity. They want you to be a great player. They want you to not make any waves. They don't want you in the headlines. They don't want you on Instagram. They want to see you at community events. And when they ask you a question, you give them 3 or 4 words and hand the ball back to the referee. That's what we like. So if you do that, they'll never. The Cleveland Browns in that article, they said, "Man, I've never heard that. The Browns had the hammer against me." And I said, "No, Nick, you didn't know it. They never had the hammer. There was no way the fan base was going to let them get rid of you, especially after getting injured against the Steelers. That's treason. That is treason.
There's no doubt. But let me just finish one more thing, Mike, about this. Nick Chubb, who never talks, never. He even said it in the article. He's like, I really only talk to my friends, and even then I don't talk that much. He spilled the beans and revealed the truth that we all knew that players don't admit. And of all people, Nick Chubb admitted it.
He reads all the comments.
If Nick Chubb, of all people, is admitting that he reads and sees the comments.
I told you that last week.
But you're not active.
Tyvis Powell.
I know you've said that, but you're not active. And active players never admit that. And if he's looking at it, him of all people, then you know everybody else is.
I sat in the locker room. They literally go like, "Look at this."
Oh yeah. Right.
It's bro. They grow up. That phone that is in there.
It's in your hand all the time.
That's in your
Every
soul.
time you go to that locker room, everybody is in there doing this.
Go to a kid. Listen, have you not seen kids and teachers getting in fist fights over phones?
Yeah, it's not.
Because they be like, "You took my phone." And they're like, "Well, it's just a phone." They're like, "No, I have personal things in there. That's my personal information. My socials in there. I got pictures in there. People know where I live. My messages, and my mom calls me every 5 minutes."
That's right.
Like, people be having knockdown dragouts over phones.
Well, people think, and I was a victim of this, even though I was in it. You think that athletes is just so much different. Like, they're just different.
I know.
And then I got in the locker rooms, and I got around some of the most popular athletes in football. And I'm like, he ain't no different. He do the same thing I do. He's just like me.
He just happen to be good at football.
He's just good. They do the same thing.
That's right. All right, Mike, go ahead. What do you got?
Aditi said she's logging on right now. So real quick around the horn. Real quick. And then I'll get a read in. We'll bring Aditi in. The chat says Nick Chubb's going to get between 6 and 10 carries. We put up a poll.
No. And
over 50%, 51% said 6 to 10 carries. Only 7% said more than 15. So they expect a middling workload. But in those 10 carries, let's hypothetically say. And Bo, we'll start with you. We'll end with Tyvis, then we'll bring Aditi in. Will he be 80% of old Nick Chubb? 100%? 50, 60?
I mean, I just said he's going to have 85 yards. So
where on the list of...
I mean, I can't. A percentage is silly, but I think he's going to look...
16 carries for 84 yards? That's what you say?
Yeah, something like that.
That's not prime Nick Chubb, but that's like 90%.
I think he's going to look pretty close to himself. So I'll say 90%.
Now listen, you know what's
real quick, we got a decent.
You know that offensive line ain't great. 80%.
I'm gonna go 100, but you ain't gonna be able to tell until 3-4 weeks.
You know how I'm gonna know if Nick Chubb is prime Nick Chubb? He's got to make that first guy miss, and we'll find out very early.
Right.
Let's bring Aditi in.
Let's bring Aditi in here after a word from Game Time. If you're looking to get tickets to the Browns-Bengals game this weekend, you better be using the Game Time app to purchase those tickets online and use the new Game Time Picks feature that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier. With Game Time Picks, you can see priority seating, all-in pricing, views from your seat. Plus, Game Time has their lowest price guarantee, which means Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference if you can find a cheaper ticket online. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. And speaking of game time, Aditi Kinkhabwala is on the call for the Browns-Bengals game, and she will join us right now. What's up, Aditi?
I am so grateful for letting me play tennis, so thank you. Guys, your producer rocks. Our producer rocks.
Sometimes.
I asked to push back so I could get in a tennis game, you know?
I like the hat.
You're what?
I'm joking. I like busting my
can I ask you a question, Tyvis? My son says that this is totally out of style. Like you need a
No.
completely flat brim.
It depends on who you are. I'm a brim bent guy.
G's got the flat
Yeah,
brim.
I'm a brim. It's your style. It's whatever you prefer.
But I mean, this
No.
is, and I told my son, but see, my son will only wear a completely
I been
flat
mine.
brim.
No,
And
Tyvis.
Denzel Washington taught me this. So my father Denzel always said to bend the brim.
Since Tyvis is setting you up for a downfall, I don't set my friends up. I tell them the truth.
It's the truth.
So here's how it works. If you are wearing the dad hat, and the dad hat is classified as a brim of that style, those go for polo hats with the polo and the horse on them. Those go for company outing hats, titleist hats. Those brims can be bent down. But if you have a fitted hat, a snapback of this ilk, that hat has to be clear and flat.
Mine is of
Well,
that.
what kind of hat
Mine
does
is
she have?
Mine
That
is of
classifies as a dad hat. That counts.
so
She
it's
can
acceptable.
have. Yes.
Mine is of that ilk. I just
a mom hat, basically.
Yes, the mom hat. Yeah.
But see here, like this isn't only about style. You're on the tennis court,
Yep.
and the sun is coming. Like
Yep.
if the brim is bent, it
There
helps
it is.
block the sun.
Yep.
This is about fashion.
I think it's acceptable.
But I don't know. I feel like the flat brim just looks real weird on my face. Like
Get a
Get a
it
bucket
would look
hat.
strange with the back.
Because you would wear like you look like you wear like a size 5 3/4 fitted hat. That's a very
not even. Like I
Not
need a kid's
even.
hat. This is my problem. CBS keeps sending me hats,
Yeah.
like when it's raining, so I can wear a CBS hat, and nuts come even close to fitting my head. I
no
look
bobble.
ridiculous.
Bobble.
Haven't
We've been
they
out of
learned?
yeah, definitely.
They haven't
bobblehead.
learned at this point that you need a tiny hat.
Well, the problem is that who they have making the hats for CBS
Yeah.
don't make a women's hat or a kid's hat.
Yeah.
So I keep trying to get them to get my buddy's company, which I won't name because, well, why not? New Era.
Yeah, why not?
I want
Yeah.
New
I'm
about
Era
to
to make me CBS hats because they make great women's hats and they make great kids' hats, but there's no deal yet in place. There's only so many things I can worry about right now. But hey, I've got another thing for you since you were just talking about Nick Chubb. So I read to my son before bed, and last night I read him the Nick Chubb Players Tribune article. And this is maybe the third time I'd read it all day. And at one point he said to me, "Mommy, can you stop crying?" And I said, "No. Why are you not crying right now?"
Yeah, right.
This is how much Nick
That's because
Chubb,
he's a Bills fan.
bro. Nick Chubb is
He's
so
a big
beloved.
fan.
His Players Tribune has become a nursery rhyme.
Yeah, right.
Like that is
I
a
mean,
lullaby to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Well,
wild.
that was the point. It's a bedtime story that my son should go to bed to, like a work ethic. And how much your parents and your grandparents love you, that they push you, and the reason for the pushing. And he got to see that as much as he thinks his baby sister is spoiled, she's not nearly as spoiled as Nick Chubb's little sister, the Queen. So there you go. It was a great tale. It was a great arc. It was better than any nursery rhyme, better than a chapter of Lemony Snicket or Percy Jackson or whatever other stuff we read.
I don't know.
And
Goosebumps.
yes,
Good. I mean,
It's
come on.
October.
Adam, my
Goosebumps
son has been
books.
told my kids are going to come this weekend to the game, and my son has been warned that he is not allowed to wear Bills gear on the field. And he did say why. Like he's like, why not? I
He's
don't
like,
get
what are you
it.
talking
Well,
about?
well,
Why can't he wear?
Because Amari Cooper just went there. That's why they go. Yeah.
He's not playing.
And
the
he has a
Bills.
pair of Amari gloves. That's sort of crazy. He's so jacked about Amari Cooper now being a Bill. So
I would be
Anyway.
too if I were a Bills fan.
Aditi, what are you
Yeah.
expecting to see out of Nick Chubb in his first game back? What's realistic?
So
to you?
first of all, the house is going to fall down. Like he gets introduced on the field, and that stadium, and thank goodness, honestly, for those people, for that fan base to be able to have something to be so excited about. So there's that. I expect it to be deafening. I also, wow, that was the jersey again. Also, where did that come from? Sorry. I
all right.
also feel like there's an emotional boost, an emotional lift. Nick Chubb, by virtue of who he is, makes everybody else want to try harder, play harder. So whatever else is swirling right now, whether there are or not frustrations with the way the quarterback situation is being handled, whether there are or not frustrations with who is putting in what, I would expect that everybody brings everything that they have, simply getting to be on the field simply by virtue of being on the field with Nick Chubb. Now, do I expect him to go for 200 and something yards like he did in his first game back after he blew out his knee in Georgia? I don't know. I learned a long time ago you never bet against Nick Chubb. It feels like let's not set those expectations crazy. But what's that? Do you guys know what that number is? Didn't in his first game back in college, didn't he go for like 222 or something?
I don't. We should know that, but I don't know.
I mean, my producer was telling us that his first game back in Georgia. I could look it up quickly, but that would not make it for great television.
I'm looking it up right
now. Okay, thanks. At least our producer told us that his first game back after after destroying the knee and the rehab and everything, Georgia was him.
222.
There you go.
Aditi, do you expect him to get a full complement of carries, like 15 to 18, or do you think they'll do more like 5 to 10? What's your best guess at this point?
I bet that they will think that they're going to ease him in.
Right.
And then he will make it impossible to just leave it at 5 or 10. Right? Like I remember, I'll give you an example. Last year, week 2, Washington was at Denver, and Chase Young was off of an injury. And Ron Rivera swore to us up and down in the production meeting that, we want to put Chase Young on a pitch count. He's only going to come in on 3rd down. We don't want to overload him. And then I remember at some point, I think it was even in the second quarter, I said to my producer, you guys realize that Chase Young is in there on every snap, right? Like, best laid plans, and then the player plays the way the player plays, and what do? And again, one of those things that is one of my cardinal rules, never bet against Nick Chubb.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, coming into this game, and the Bengals obviously are not playing great. They've played better, and they won last week, and their offense outside of last week has been good, and their defense outside of last week has been bad. But if Nick Chubb weren't playing, I would honestly think the Browns have no chance of winning this game, even at home against a 2-4 team. But I think just something about Nick Chubb playing, I know Stefanski's done well against the Bengals, but something about Nick Chubb playing makes you think they have a lot better of a chance, which is crazy.
And again,
usually not running back related.
Again, this is one of those things, the emotional boost of it, the lift of it, his being on the field. And I know that there are tons of people who will sit here and poo-poo all of that and say it's about the plays, but emotion obviously plays a factor in these games. And there's a reason that the Bengals haven't won Cleveland in since 2017, something like that. So you take whatever you can take. I remember, so 2 weeks ago we had the Colts in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville was on the worst kind of slide that there was. And I said to Kirk, well, the Colts haven't won here in 8 or 9 outings. Does it just feel like, oh, these are all different new teams, who cares? And Christian said, where we are in our season right now, meaning the Jaguars, we're going to take whatever we can get confidence from.
Yeah.
And if we feel like we own that team here in this town, then great, let's ride that. So the Browns should be sitting here and say, you know what? We don't let that team from across Ohio come into our city, come into our building. Who knows? I haven't had my meetings yet. I haven't watched practice, so I'll obviously feel a bit different when I'm out there. And I worry about the offensive line, obviously, and the line that Nick Chubb has to run behind, but
they played a little better last week.
Aditi, I was looking this up. There's a lot of parallels in this. You go back to how many years ago? 2 years. To go back to 2021, right?
That's 3 years.
3 years. Browns lose to Pittsburgh, right? They lose 15-10. After that game, the Browns...
I was at that game.
They cut Odell Beckham Jr. after that game. The very next game, I think Baker Mayfield goes out and they play at Cincinnati. They win 41-16. Now...
Yeah, but you know what? So Baker played phenomenal in that game, but that game started with that Denzel Ward massive pick six. Mm-hmm. The ball was thrown to Ja'Marr Chase. Denzel Ward runs the whole field. And Baker wasn't going to lose. That was the week of all that crazy drama, right? Odell's dad's video, and then the Browns telling him to stay. Yeah.
And then,
go ahead. Sorry.
You have a situation where you have Nick Chubb coming back. Amari Cooper situation, I don't think it was explosive as Odell Beckham's, but there were times where he said, hey, I wouldn't mind being gone. I wouldn't mind. What do you expect it to be. I do think there will be a Nick Chubb boost a little bit. I'm not going to say the Browns are going to come smoke the Bengals 41-16. But do you think that there is a little bit of magic available where we've seen I don't know why I would pick the Browns to beat the Bengals, but I go back to those situations before where, the defense is playing well. Do you foresee a chance that the Browns play differently than they've played the majority of the season and might have like a little bit of a bump here that may
sure.
go away?
I mean, if they go back to what they were doing well last year, if they go back to the core principles of Kevin Stefanski's offense, I mean, the second half last week, Deshaun Watson was actually a little bit bright, but if you look at the numbers of target balls directed to Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy, I mean, it's unacceptable. That's not what high-level quarterback play is. So you expect to see more. You want to see more. You feel like the second half last week was a bit better. So you build off of that in some way. And, Myles Garrett is still Myles Garrett. I was just talking to a player on the Eagles this week to say, hey, just give me some background. You saw them up close. You studied for them. And the first thing he wrote was 95 is 95. 6 is playing phenomenally well. And I was like, really? But isn't 95 hurt? And he was like, yeah, I guess he's not 100%, but he still blocked a kick. He still jumped over a dude. They can do that. And if you want to have hope, G, how about this one? My crew, Adam Archuleta, Spiro Aditis, and Aditi Kinkhabwala, last year, when we were on the for Browns, Cleveland Browns went 3 and
I'll take that. I'll take that.
You're the super.
I'm trying to drink a little Kool-Aid. I ain't drank no Kool-Aid all year. I'm just trying.
The referee for this game, Ron Torber, was there was the referee when the Bengals lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago. And he was the referee when the Bengals lost the Super Bowl, both games that were hijacked by bad refereeing, let's be honest.
Dang, boy, you done memorized the dudes that you got his address too?
I mean, that's true. I don't blame the refs for losses. I'm kidding about that.
Aditi,
Ron, I'm coming to your house, Ron. You better make some good calls.
I got one last one for you before we let you go. Obviously, the Browns defense hasn't been playing that well, particularly in the secondary. But as you know, Ja'Marr Chase and them it's beef. It's beef between Ja'Marr Chase and this Browns secondary. Do you think that they finally show up this year? I mean, because like I said, the last couple of weeks in the secondary, Denzel's been in and out of the lineup. Martin Emerson hasn't looked like himself. Do you think that they forget about all that and we actually see that Browns defense that we seen last year?
Well, I mean, if they're going to play as much man as they've been playing, then they need to. Otherwise, they need to play a little less man. You saw the Eagles take advantage of that, right? Mm-hmm. And with the receivers here, the way Tee Higgins is playing right now, Ja'Marr Chase has been on fire since Tee Higgins has come back. It's risky. So, and obviously, Denzel has kind of been on a snap count. He's not playing as much. How healthy is he this week? How much can we see out of him this coming weekend? But you've got 2 frontline level receivers in Ja'Marr and Tee Higgins. So, I don't know. All that man worked for them last year. I don't know that it's working so much this year.
Aditi, last thing, we're going to be talking about, the Browns' number 2 wide receiver. Obviously, Jerry Jeudy is not really a number 1 wide receiver, but he's going to have to be for this team. So who's going to be the number 2? Is it going to be Elijah Moore? Is it going to be Cedric Tillman? Is it going to be, I don't know, Tyvis? Maybe we'll bring him in because none of these guys can catch the ball, so I don't know. Who's
I like Jamari Thrash in the preseason. Is he not there anymore? Is he not still somebody?
I don't think you got the memo, Aditi. Whenever the Browns draft a wide receiver, he becomes useless as soon as the Browns draft him.
Oh, stop. You know what? Cedric Tillman is a really talented kid, a nice big body. He's very heady, very smart.
9 yards.
You know what? The throws have not been on target this season.
We know Deshaun Watson can't play football anymore, but at least Amari Cooper had some yards. Jerry Jeudy had some yards. I mean, come on. All
right, so then it's Elijah Moore's turn to step up. I mean, really.
You think it should be Cedric Tillman?
I both Tillman and Moore. I've been waiting on Moore. I've been bullish on Moore for 2 years now? Come on, please don't make a liar of me.
You and me both.
But I like Tillman. I like Tillman a lot. I really like Tillman.
All right. That would be nice if Tillman had a big game.
I mean, they got rid of DPJ for him.
Do
you got to show
like
something.
him more than George Pickens?
Is there any part of you that thinks George Pickens is my style of play?
No.
Do you think that I am the sort of person that would be okay with, hey, I'm not going to block because I might get hurt? Do you think I'm the sort of person that would approve putting on your eye black? I'm always open when you have not been a consistent producer in your entire life. Do you think I am the sort of person who is okay with showing up to meetings late? Yeah, no. Not my style.
By the
Not
way,
my style.
I think Tom is making a huge mistake for play. I mean, huge maybe strong because Justin Fields is not that great, but like he's playing well enough.
Oh, man.
They're not.
Yep.
I mean, they're not winning necessarily because of him, but they're not winning in spite of him either.
You know what? He played great in the end of that Indy game. He has done exactly what is being asked of him. He has never gotten greedy. He is not, even though he is desperately wanting to hold on to this position, he has never gone outside of what the offense prescribed for him. And the offense prescribed for him has been winning ugly. Yeah. They're not taking chances. And he's not saying, all right, well, screw what's called. I'm going to throw deep or I'm going to do this crazy thing. He has been very dynamic with his legs. He's worked within the offense. Like I said, he hasn't gotten greedy in any way. His teammates love him. He's gotten better every single week. You know what? Let's see what happens. But I agree with you, Adam. I would have stuck with him. And you know what? They're 4-2. They're 4-2. The defense makes a goal line stand, and they're 5-1. And what's crazy, I said this on the radio in Pittsburgh yesterday. I'm going to this Browns team is 1-5. And the fan base is clamoring for a change at quarterback. And the head coach refuses to do that. And then meanwhile in Pittsburgh, you've got a team that's 4-2. Nobody is asking for a change at quarterback. And the head coach is changing the quarterback.
Yeah, it's weird. All right. Aditi, thanks. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
Bye.
Please.
Aditi be
Check
on the
out
call.
Aditi on the call.
Along with Spiro Adidas and
I had to get that
Adam
in.
Archuleta.
Adam Archuleta. Couldn't think of
I had to sneak that in.
on CBS.
You're not going to come over here unscathed. I got to make something. I got to make the Steelers feel bad some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can't have y'all out here coming free.
It was very, very well asked, G. We're going to move on, talk about that wide receiver 2 position after a quick word from Arena Club. For most of us that like collecting cards, the idea of spending $2,000 or more on a Luka Doncic or a Patrick Mahomes rookie card just isn't in the cards. You guys know I love collecting, but that's some serious money to drop. But thanks to slab packs from arenaclub.com, now it's possible to score gem mints for a fraction of their retail price. Every card I listed before was hit from last week's Arena Club slab pack drop. Arena Club is the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and a clear hit rate for each individual one. Arena Club slab packs are revolutionizing the repack game with transparency. After your pulls are revealed, they'll immediately be placed in your showroom for safekeeping, selling, trading, and auction. And right now you can get 10% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/LockedOnNFL and use promo code LockedOnNFL. That's arenaclub.com/LockedOnNFL, promo code LockedOnNFL for 10% off your first purchase. Boy, you asked Aditi.
Yeah.
It is a who's who of potential options to replace Jerry Jeudy as the receiver 2 because now he's wide receiver 1.
How many yards does Elijah Moore have, by the way?
Elijah Moore this season has 95 yards. Then
So
the next
Cedric Tillman is 9.
David Bell, who's out, has 27. Cedric Tillman has 9. Jalen Darden has 6. The question, though, not just for this Sunday. This is big picture for the season.
Yeah.
By the end of the season, who will the Browns wide receiver 2 be?
By the way,
read it one more time.
It's so bad. I even forgot when Aditi said Jamari Thrash. I was like, oh, I forgot about that guy.
Wait, let me hear this.
I will read you all the receiving yards again. Now, Steve, take the graphic. We are just talking receiver. So Njoku and Akins, they don't really count for this. But Cooper, through 6 games, led the team with 250 receiving yards. Jeudy had 2 fewer, 248. Then a big drop-off. Akins is 3rd on the team in receiving yards with 98.
My God.
Elijah Moore 4th with 95. Njoku 5th with 89.
I mean,
Jerome
that is
Ford,
sad.
who doesn't count for this because he's a running back, has 87. Then Pierre Strong has 65. Then Deonta Foreman has 46. Then David Bell, who's injured, out for the year, has 27. Then Blake Whitehart. I'm not quite sure who he is besides he's the guy who caught a touchdown
He's
against
a
the
random
Raiders.
white tight end.
He has 13. And then we get to the
Whitehart.
Browns' next 3 receivers. Cedric Tillman has 9. Jalen Darden has 6. And James Prochet has 3. Jamari Thrash does not have a reception.
Has he been active, Ja'Marr
He has
Chase?
not been active, which is important to note. So of all the options,
He will be
just
this week, I
receivers,
assume.
just receivers, who do you have the most confidence in to replace Jerry Jeudy as the wide receiver 2 moving forward?
First of all, we got to start by saying I have no faith in Jerry Jeudy replacing Amari Cooper as the number 1. And Amari Cooper this year was not playing like a number 1. He was not playing very well. I don't know, guys.
Oh, wait a minute.
There's really no. I have no faith in any of those guys. Do you?
You know what the sad thing is?
Yeah.
Is that they looked at their season last year and they said, you know what? This ain't, somebody in the Browns said, this ain't good enough. We got to be more of a pass team. And they scrapped everything just to be more of a passing team. And that's the numbers.
And yeah,
The
I
wide
mean,
receiver.
they're not going to have. Are they
This
going to
is
have?
terrible.
I mean, Jerry Judy's going to lead the team in receiving yards. Will he even have 700 yards?
First, guys.
Well, I
He's,
tell you what,
he's on
that-
pace for
that-
750.
That
That
4,500.
was playing with Amari Cooper.
Where are we at on the 4,500 now?
Guys.
What's the update?
This alone,
You don't want to know.
in a PowerPoint format, like Kyle Shanahan should get people fired.
Yeah.
This just Mikey McNuggets.
Yeah.
Just that 5-second breakdown of the yardage should get people
Did you say
fired.
we got 3 running backs before the 3 wide receivers?
Yes. Ford, Strong, and Foreman all have more yards than Bell, Tillman, Darden, Prochet combined. And if you combine Tillman, Darden, and Prochet, they have less than a third of the yards of all 3 running backs.
By the way, you're wrong. You're wrong, Mike.
Hold on.
Jerry Judy is on pace for
is
703
terrible.
yards.
Hold on.
6 games is more than a third of the season. They don't play 18.
Oh, I was thinking 18 weeks.
Jerry
You're right,
Jeudy
you're right.
is on pace for 703 yards, and he, assuming he hits 3 yards this week, will be the team's leading receiver.
No.
Well, him and Deshaun do got some type of chemistry, though.
703 yards, Tyvis. That's what he's on pace for this year.
Hold on.
That's pretty awful.
Well, listen,
703 yards and 2 and
Well,
3/4 touchdowns.
if anything, Mikey McNuggets should be the happiest about the Cooper trade because he got an actual shot of actually being right.
That was my first thought, Tyvis. I
Cedric
swear to
Tillman
God.
being second on the
actually
team.
could be
He's got
right.
9. He's got 1 catch, right?
He had 1 game with 100 yards, and he's like second.
He has actually 3 catches for 9 yards. And he
Oh.
would have, listen,
He catches for 9.
it's mistaken because
Yeah.
he dropped the one that hit him right in the chest against the Giants. That would have been 15 yards. If he actually caught that, he'd be right in conversation.
Oh, he'd be at 24 yards. He'd
I know.
be really killing it.
So let me tell you why this is. Tell me why this is a fireable offense. Because when you put this together and you start looking at it, it just shows me the ineptitude of what you guys are doing all year. This is worse than the 2022 snafu when they just said we're not going to get any D linemen. It's the same thing. I'm gonna read the names off here. But here's the problem.
You said
with
2020?
2022.
Okay.
Here's your problem with this wide receiver lineup. Is you've been telling us for 3 years, what's their favorite word? We like our receiving room.
Yeah.
He almost cut.
I almost really literally cussed because that is so infuriating that you're a regular person. We are regular civilians. And for us to be able to identify.
Whoa.
We're not. We talk about not you, Tyler.
Okay.
You know what
I
I'm
appreciate
saying? Not
that.
you. But I've been crying, talking about your receiving core, and you thought you had someone with Amari Cooper. Sean King just came on the show yesterday. He's like, why are you running deep routes with Amari Cooper? He can't run no more.
I've been saying that.
Jerry Jeudy ain't never been fast.
I said that too.
Like you had Donovan Peoples-Jones, and we talk about we won't trade him for nobody. The fact that y'all really for the last 7 years have been trotting in bums. and
Wait
put,
a minute, now you tripping. Wait, you can't do
Have
that.
these guys?
You can't
Donovan
do that.
Peoples-Jones had 1,000 yards here. He can't
He's
even make
not on the roster.
He can't even make a roster.
He didn't have 1,000. He had just shy.
Oh, whatever.
hold on. These guys ain't on the roster. And it's just not at
What do
receiver.
you mean? Kadarius Hodges I just saw him do a game winner with the Falcons.
He's the 17th receiver over
Yeah, I
there.
mean,
He's
come on.
third.
No, he's not.
He's the 17th receiver
He's
over
the
there.
third
Tyler.
guy.
No,
I
he's
think.
not. Hold on.
Let me tell you, when you leave the Browns, you go to the workforce. Where's Taven Bryan playing at right now?
David
He was a first round pick.
Jordan Elliott,
He's in San Francisco.
Siaki Ika.
He just got
The Browns
cut.
just cut him off their practice squad.
I don't even know who Jay Martin is.
No
Heard
idea.
of him.
Isaiah McGuire.
He's still
Cardero
here.
Hodge has only had that one catch, essentially.
Remember,
Yeah, I mean, come on.
remember this
And
guy?
he's loved forever.
Remember this guy, Rochelle? You got a defensive tackle
Isaiah-
named Rochelle?
He was
Rochelle.
He's a TikTok.
he's a TikToker, yeah.
Hey,
And he's loved in Cleveland.
Tommy Togiai?
Hey, go Bucks.
Hey, listen, bro.
He's-
Tommy Togiai is working at McDonald's
I
down the
think
street.
he ain't on a practice squad.
You
No, he's
did
working at McDonald's.
so
Saw him working
so
there.
it was a whole
He was
year.
on like the Falcons practice squad.
It was a whole year in 2022 that you rolled out with these names. And then you told us we like our defensive line room until you lost a whole year, got smoked, and then said maybe we do need to have defensive linemen. So much so that they rehauled every single person on the D-line except for Myles Garrett.
Well, listen.
Yeah, sure.
Wait a minute. Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to the wide receiver.
Hold on 1 second before you do that, because we got a little news here. I don't know if you've seen this, Mike.
No.
I don't know if it's news.
Nick
but-
Chubb is working on. They're working on his limit, his workload.
Yeah. So Ken Dorsey spoke today. When asked about Nick Chubb, he said, quote, his workload is, quote, still a work in progress.
I told you.
We want to make sure that he's available for the long term.
I told you.
What that means exactly, who knows?
And so,
Let me finish this.
Go ahead.
This
Yeah, go ahead,
receiver.
sorry.
So you made the point about the tackles and all that. Let's fast forward to the wide receiver room. For 4 years, essentially, we've had different numbers of wide receivers. They went out and traded for some. They've acquired some in the draft. All of these things, and yet here we are today with essentially a mediocre.
No, it's the worst.
Worst.
It's the worst.
It's the worst receiving room in the game.
Okay.
No.
Now
in the
listen.
game?
In the game.
Listen.
I take anybody else's roster. Go down the
Wait.
list. I'll take
G.
them.
Bush, we've been doing this topic for 8 minutes, and not a single one of you
Can I-
give me an answer on
can
who's
I
going to be number
finish?
2.
Because
Can I
there's no legitimate candidate.
And that's why I'm saying it's the
Just
worst
get out
overall. You can't
It's
even
the
name a
worst.
Can I
second
finish
guy.
my
Go ahead, let
thought?
him finish thought. I'll look up other teams'
Go ahead.
receivers.
My thought
The Raiders
is,
is the only one that might be it.
listen, now everybody knows that I'm not one person that I would never say somebody should be fired. Never. But I do think that you have to look into the fact that Chad O'Shea is not developing guys. Because that don't make sense that you...
And he's the only one that didn't get
you
fired
have
in
a
the offense.
you have literally a rotation of different talent. You have had speed. You have big guys. You got guys that can catch in traffic. All of these guys. And we don't have an answer. None of them work. You didn't develop none of them to be successful in this league. Like, at some point, you got to look at that guy and be like I said, I'm not saying fire him. I don't do that. I'm just saying you need to evaluate the situation.
But
Reevaluate the situation.
I'm evaluating all of it. Are those guys any good? Did you draft anybody that was good? Then I'm gonna look at the coach.
so you going AB and the coach.
AB didn't whiff. He don't. That's what I'm saying. He
I'm
didn't
not
whiff
again. I don't. Nobody should be fired. I don't do that.
Why-
It should be reevaluated.
Tyvus, it is egregious. The simple fact that he hasn't developed the defensive lineman either. Who?
Mike Hall, go Bucks.
Mike Hall has done nothing. The only Hall
Yet.
The only Hall-
Yet.
I give you that. Yet. We're not going to put, he's a rookie. But let me just tell you.
Yeah.
Who have they developed as a defensive lineman? Nobody. Who have they developed as receivers? Nobody. When you resort to one-year deals over and over and over again and
Yeah.
trades to get your guys, that tells me you have a deficiency in the way that you identify these guys. And I'm just be honest with you. It's
Yeah.
the nastiest receiving core in the game. I'm waiting for you, Bulls.
All right, here we go.
Listen,
You got one?
Now listen, I'm not saying the Browns are definitely not the worst,
he done looked at the rosters like,
but I got 3 wide receiving cores that can battle the Browns for the worst wide
Vegas
receiving
is
core.
up there.
Let me give it to you.
Okay.
The Panthers.
No,
All right.
taking Leggett and Deontay Johnson.
Who they got?
They got Deontay Johnson, who's been a big bust the last couple of years.
Xavier Leggett.
Xavier
I
Leggett's
like
a rookie.
I like his upside.
Jonathan Mingo stole my baby.
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen's hurt, but he's on the
I'll
right.
tell him to give me the
That's
Panthers.
better.
I
Give me the
gotta take the
Panthers.
Panthers.
Give me
I
the
gotta take
Panthers.
Y'all sick.
All right. Will you take the Browns over the Panthers?
No.
No. No.
All right. The next one in contention, you could have said the Bills, but now they got Cooper. So.
Definitely not better.
All right. The Broncos.
Cortland Sutton.
But
Tim Patrick.
let's face it, since that
Tim
guy got
Pat-
hurt in his
Tim
second year,
Patrick
he's been
go.
nothing.
They think about it.
That's
They
true.
kept him over Jerry Jeudy.
That's true.
That's true too.
They got him.
First of all, I played with Cortland. Cortland's a dog, so
They got rid of him over the guy
The
you
rest
got.
of their receiving core is garbage.
They are bad. That's
Okay.
Marvin Mims Jr., Josh. I think it might be a tie.
I'm
But
taking
then again, you're right. I would take Cortland Sims over Jerry Judy.
Sutton.
They're tied from
Cortland
2 on.
Sutton.
But
Don't do that.
Mims, I'm taking him over Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman. By the
I think
way,
it's close, but I'm going
this is the
Broncos.
Cedric. Hold on. Let me remind you. This is the Cedric Tillman
Yeah.
that got hit between the 1 and the 9
Yeah.
on 4th down and jumped for no reason to catch the football.
That's true.
And got tackled on the end around last week.
And was consistently running the routes wrong last year.
Okay.
and Bull, who's your last one before
The
you-
last hope, fellas.
Chargers.
No.
It's the Raiders.
No. Although I forgot about the Raiders.
But the Raiders just smoked us
I was
with
going
those
to say
guys.
the Patriots.
Okay.
Okay.
Read them off.
Nah, yeah,
Read them off.
Kendrick Bourne.
KB, that's my boy.
Yeah, but Jerry Judy's better than Kendrick Bourne.
KB.
Keep going.
Jalen Polk, Demario Douglas.
Jalen Polk's a rookie, and Demario Douglas.
I like Jalen Polk.
You need to stop.
I like
It's in
Jalen.
the
And then who's the
conversation.
Raiders
You would
have?
take the Browns over that. Stop
Jacoby
it.
Myers and the guys that killed the Browns that we never heard of.
Trey
before.
Yeah,
Tucker.
Trey Tucker.
Trey Tucker.
Oh yeah,
That guy's only had that one game against the Browns.
but he's faster than everybody combined.
I'm going to
for the Browns.
say
I'm taking the Browns over the Raiders and
and the Patriots.
And the Patriots.
Because Jerry Judy's better than any of
Y'all,
those.
you
receivers.
need to stop.
I'm going 30th ranked. I'm going 30th ranked. Now,
But remember,
if
they
you
were-
go,
they were
if
fine
you
with
go,
That is sad.
if you go just wide receiver, they're 30th, in my opinion. I'm with you, Tyvis, for wide receiving core. If you go just wide receiver 2 to the end, then they're 32nd, no doubt.
And
You know
by the
the
way,
sick thing is,
And by the way, what make it the worst is that they go 5 wide on their own goal line with that receiving core.
Yeah, and they told us we love our receiving core all summer long, and we knew that,
that
was a
was
lie
the
from the
sickest
get-go.
part.
5 wide.
We got Julius there.
From
oh,
one
yeah,
bad
we rolled.
receiving core to a
5
good
wide,
other
5
receiving
easy.
core. Let's talk about the other side of that matchup after we
Yeah.
tell you guys why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You can start the season
Nasty
with
word.
a massive return on FanDuel right now. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed just by placing your first $5 bet. That's at FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Guys, the Browns have had pretty good success in the past slowing down Ja'Marr Chase and Tee Higgins, but the secondary for the Browns this year has taken a step back, and Denzel Ward's a little banged up. So, Tyvis, as our resident DB on the show today, how confident are you the Browns' defensive backs can hold their own against a red-hot Ja'Marr Chase, Tee Higgins, and Joe Burrow?
Don't you lie. Don't you lie. I'm watching you. Don't you lie to the
Can
people.
I let me lay the groundwork.
Go ahead.
In this exercise, are we assuming Denzel is healthy?
I think it's fair to assume he'll play. You can't assume he's going to play every snap.
But see, he has to. This one of those games where he has no choice. Because if you're asking me, my confidence meter without Denzel on the field versus the rest of them, not great at all. And that's for anybody. That's any game. Denzel is the only person that I think can match up with Ja'Marr Chase step for step. That to me, he has to play. It's non-negotiable. Or you're going to be running some cover 2 and giving them a lot of smoke breaks and stuff like that. Because there's no way you're about to go out there and play man-to-man. You just went up against 2 of the best tandem duos in the country with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, and you've seen exactly what just happened. These guys is clicking on all cylinders right now. There's no way that you telling me you cool with MJ Emerson and G New and Cam Mitchell. Like that's not gonna happen. So
Ja'Marr Chase had one big game against the Browns. That was December of 22. He had 10 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. The other 4 games, he has total 17 catches. Let's see, about 133 yards and no touchdowns in the other 4 games combined. So they have played well. Denzel has, I've said this many times before, Denzel has played better against Ja'Marr Chase than any cornerback in the league by far. But you're right.
if he's
If he's not out there, those other guys can't play with him.
yeah. And the way that our pass rush, Miles gonna do his thing.
Right.
How has Cincinnati's O-line been this year?
I
Obviously
thought they
pretty
played poorly against the Giants. Overall, I think it's the best O-line
The
he's
Giant,
played.
y'all keep forgetting the Giants got like
They
3
got-
dudes on
yeah,
the D line.
Although Kayvon Thibodeau didn't play.
Oh well, they got 2 dudes on the defense line.
Yeah. But what's his name? Burns, man. That guy.
Yeah,
He's an underrated player.
Yeah, so
but
somebody
they did
offered
not
him 3
play well.
first-round
Besides that game, I think they played much better this year.
So the answer is, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, the answer to this question is it all depends on Denzel's availability and Jim Schwartz, what he's calling in the back end. If you call straight man-to-man and you're going to go out there and you're going to down that man-to-man hill, we're going to lose by 28 points.
Yeah, you can't. If Burrow has time, he's going to beat you.
Man.
It's that simple.
This is one of the most disappointing angles. Listen, they about to get their mouth tore out. That's what's gonna happen. They about to get just. Listen, let me keep it real. Greg Newsome is one of the bigger disappointments of this year. First and foremost, Tyvis, I needed to talk to you because
What I do?
I don't think they coach that on crossing routes.
Give up on the play?
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Like, I don't think they coach that.
They don't. What was the score at that moment? Was it?
They needed to get it stopped to get
Was
the
it
right back.
13-10 at this moment?
It's at that point.
Yeah, you got to sell out for that.
And my point is, my thing is, somehow I think people done started to read their own news clippings. Y'all been riding Dakota Denzel Ward for 2 years. And people done found out like, oh, yeah, we nice. We stop talking about we. We got one in a possible. And what they found out is when Denzel Ward comes off that field, it's time to eat. It's time to go eat. And they've been eating very good. And matter of fact, it don't matter who it is. Whether it's the no-name gangsters from the Raiders, whether it's rookies and Malik Neighbors, whether it's no-name gangsters for the Commanders just dunking on you in the corner of the end zone. I'm just saying, bro.
He didn't dunk on him. He burnt
He
him.
cooked him. You have to
That
at
boy
least have,
Tyreek Hill D.
you at least got to have 86 speed. Come on, bro. Like you getting, and Martin Emerson he's getting tossed up anyway.
God, dog.
He's getting tossed up right now. He's getting dunked on. He's getting trailing these plays. Greg Newsome is leaving him. Like, it's crazy.
Martin it's got to be some type of injury. Please.
Tyvis,
I got to look at the injury report. He got to be on there at something.
He's trailing every
hamstring,
week.
ankle. It's got to be something.
Every week he's trailing somebody.
He was not doing this against Jay Jettis in the joint cam.
He obviously showed us.
What?
He obviously showed us it was levels to this.
He getting
Torched.
It's bad.
So what's the plan?
There is no plan.
No, seriously.
No, dead
are they gonna
serious.
do?
Dead serious.
What's the plan?
I told you what
If
to do.
Denzel Ward is not playing, the plan is
Well, he's going to play.
every time he
So when
come out,
Denzel's
bull,
on the field, you run.
yes,
And when Denzel's off, you pass.
up top. That's the plan for him.
God,
We
no.
have nothing for that.
Hey, you need to chill.
No, I'm
You
just
need-
being honest with you.
You got to chill out.
This is why I keep telling people, as bad as the quarterback been playing, your problem is this. The quarterback been playing so bad that we all fixated on him.
No. I told you, I don't care about the offense. My big issue is the defense. And what really bothers me is you got not one but 2 dudes that culture is everything. Jim Schwartz don't play that stuff. And then you went and got Vrabel, who I know personally don't play that stuff.
confused.
And this is the product that we see
I'm
here.
confused.
I just don't understand what's going on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, when Greg Newsome trailed that play
And gave up?
and let him, and then it was like there wasn't no hustle. He trotted into the end zone.
He did.
And if we down, we trying to get the ball back and score and win.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here looking at these dudes like,
If I was Jim,
Well, it's the same. It's funny because you say that Denzel, like he's carrying everybody else in that secondary. We talked about that with Myles Garrett on the defensive line. It's like the defensive line good. No, Myles Garrett's good.
yeah, Myles Garrett, because when Myles is out, 5 yards a carry, 7 yards a carry, reverse for 12 yards.
I'm just not gonna
So
lie
what
to
are you doing, Tyvus? What's your game plan defensively?
Well, the first thing I would have been doing
Yeah.
all week is I would have every time we have like team meetings and defensive meetings, I would start the meeting off showing that clip of Greg Newsome, and I have them highlighted on that play, so everybody on the team can see this. I want y'all to 10-13 now. Game on the line. Look at this. Look at this. Just look at that. Look at this effort. I do it every day.
Yeah.
Every day. So he come out and play the best game of his life. You gotta get these dudes mad, okay? And then I would finish it by saying, let me. This is a guy right here. He wants to get paid now. This is a guy this is a contract year. This is what he put on tape right here. Look, check this out.
I like this, Tyvus.
Check this out. This is a dude who's asking us for multiple millions of dollars, and this is what he's doing on tape.
I like that.
Game on the line now. Game on the line. Check this.
Yeah.
This guy wants $40 million. Check this. Y'all think this worth $40 million? That's what they do that to you in meetings. Yes.
I like that.
That's exactly
good.
what they do to
like
you.
that.
They did that to us in D3 basketball minus the millions of dollars. Like, I'm sure as hell they're doing that in an NFL locker room for guys who are making significant amounts of money.
I like this Blackwater Miss Tyvus.
So that's what I would do. I would start that off every
But how are
day.
you? What's your game plan defensively?
Game plan
What would you
defensively, I would definitely heat up Joe Burrow. But
You have to
problem
try
is you leaving now. You got the secondary on the back end.
Yeah.
Okay. If Denzel is playing, I'm more comfortable blitzing.
Are you putting? Don't you have to put Denzel on Ja'Marr Chase?
Yes,
play,
we're not doing that.
Not doing the sides
Yeah, we're not
nonsense.
doing that. No,
Yeah.
not at all. We tried that and we seen what happened. That mistake won't get made for the rest of this season.
Yeah.
We're done with that. So Denzel's healthy. Denzel, you got number one. When Denzel's not out there, we might play a lot more zone, which I'm never been really a huge fan of, but you got to do it. You got to keep these guys on top. Maybe you run cover 2 to Ja'Marr Chase side, and you run quarters on the back end, whatever you might need to do. But
Tee Higgins, I think Tee Higgins is playing his best football that I've ever seen him play right now.
and he got to go one-on-one with Martin Emerson every play,
and
even when Denzel is out there.
See, my problem is this. That sounds like a great plan.
Best thing to do, you got to heat him up. You got to get that ball out his
Sounds
hands.
like-
Denzel's got to play the full game.
You just got to get Joe to get that ball out his hands.
Sounds like a beautiful plan, but the problem when you bring in zone is the Cleveland Browns can't communicate in the secondary.
I've been talking about that.
How are you gonna play zone when they don't know how to pass off simple cover 3 techniques?
I don't know.
Listen, isn't the Browns is getting a guy back, I think, this week that has been missing.
Don't you tell me his name.
Oh, Thornhill's coming back?
I think
Is he playing?
I think
Thornhill is back. Or he was.
I know
No,
he was practicing. Yeah.
let me read. He was activated to practice. He wasn't activated to the roster.
By the way, one other thing they got to deal with.
Gosh.
It's a
defensively,
difference, man.
I'll tell you something. I've been
Why Thorhill gonna make a difference? Because he got this. He a dog inside.
All right.
So you know.
One other thing we got to talk about with the Bengals offense against the Browns defense. I like this guy from the moment they drafted him. I was glad that they got moved on from Joe Mixon, even though Joe Mixon's a good back.
Chase
Because
Brown.
I love Chase Brown.
Oh yeah,
He's
good
explosive.
I watched him at Illinois. He's really good.
He's averaging 5.5 yards per carry,
And in the
and he can catch the ball.
Joe Mixon though had a big game last week.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that explosive speed.
Browns
No,
up front.
he had like a nice little run.
They've been
throughout.
kind of leaky up front. The Browns, like this is the thing, man. Even the guys that don't really do nothing, that don't show up, like the Maurice Hurst, the Dalvin Tomlinsons, the Shelby Harrises, those guys have even taken a step back and stopping the run.
It feels like it. Yeah.
And, you know, the guys are getting. Madison is getting 4 or 5 yards, and it's just way too much carryover and spillage. The gap integrity ain't really there, and you know the messed up part about it is, it's like, man, like. But first of all, y'all, if the Bengals don't win, if y'all don't win, bro, this is crazy work. Y'all gotta make some changes, bro. If they don't beat the Browns,
I would have already fired Zach Taylor. If they lose this game, I'd fire Zach Taylor again.
because without the Nick Chubb, I even tried to get the Nick Chubb mushroom love from Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
They may get a little. You know, one up a little. You can feel a little better about themselves.
Yeah.
I try to ask Aditi. She like, nah, it ain't working like that.
Speaking of Mario Brothers, by the way, have you guys seen the movie Pixels? Adam Sandler.
No.
It's a movie where I don't know when it came out. Probably sometime in the last 10 years. I was watching it with Aaron last night. Adam Sandler was like the beginning of the movie. They show him as he's probably like 10 or 12, and he's in an arcade. It's the 80s, and he's like the best player at Galaga or one of those kid games because he's able to figure out the pattern. He's like a genius or whatever, and he plays for the 1982 arcade championships. Anyway, years later, at the time they took the video from the arcade championships, they sent it out into space, and apparently there are aliens coming now. 30 years later, they thought that the video games they were attacking that planet, and now they got to play the video games 30 years later. Adam Sandler's some dope. His best friend's the president, Kevin James, and then they got to play video games, and they're playing Donkey Kong, they're playing Pac-Man, and I don't know. I went on this rant for very little reason.
Where did you
I just
see
thought you'd
this
find that
from?
interesting.
Very little reason.
Yeah.
Where did you watch
I
this
thought you
bro?
would find that interesting.
Where did you
it
see
was on
this at?
Netflix.
It's a Pixar movie. We got our guest, so let's still read and bring in Ben Baby. We talked Pixels in overtime today, Bull.
Yeah.
As we,
I think we've had enough of Pixels.
I'm sure everyone.
I just thought G would appreciate that because he's a big video game guy.
I
It
am.
is.
I just never
Old
saw
school
that.
arcade game.
That sounds like a made-up game. I didn't know that.
It was a funny
Let's-
movie.
Let's get
funny.
Ben Baby in here, an
Yeah.
ESPN reporter who covers the Bengals. But guys, if you need the toughest gutter guards out there, then the only gutter guard for Cleveland Browns fans is Leaf Filter. Leaf Filter has been protecting gutters in Northeast Ohio for 20 years. An investment in Leaf Filter is an investment engineered to protect your entire home. Clogged gutters aren't just a nuisance. They can cause extensive water damage. Protect your home from flooding, roof damage, rotting siding, foundation issues, and more. Do-it-yourself and store-bought solutions may be cheaper up front, but they end up costing you more in the long run. Schedule your free inspection now, and for a limited time, get up to 32% off your entire qualified purchase and 2 free Browns jerseys at leaffilter.com/UCSS. That's a free inspection up to 32% off and 2 free Browns jerseys with a qualified purchase at leaffilter.com/UCSS. Offer valid on a first-come, first-served basis while supplies last. Full terms and conditions can be found at leaffilter.com/UCSS. See representatives for warranty details. And
All right,
with
let's
that,
bring
let's
in
welcome Ben Baby in.
Ben, let me ask you this: If Zach Taylor, if the Bengals had a legitimate owner, like not this clown who thinks he's managing the grocery store in 1986, if they had a legitimate owner, Zach Taylor would be fired by now, wouldn't he?
I mean, you're talking about a guy who took them to the Super Bowl a few years ago. And the offense, it's interesting, looking at how people evaluate Zach, I think a lot of it has the offense been good enough to live up to the resources he has, namely Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, and Tee Higgins? Has he squandered them? And this year, you look at it, the offense is playing better than it has. They finally revamped the run game. So they've done well. I don't know how much this is on Zach. I think when you look at it, the bigger question goes to maybe Duke Tobin and if he's done a good enough job building that roster, especially on that defensive side of the ball. When I sat down with Joe Burrow in the offseason, he was here for a marketing event with Guinness, and we had an extended conversation. And he said even if he had been healthy, he did not feel like last year's team was really good enough to go where they wanted to go. And this year, that defense has been a big question mark. And that's really been the surprising thing, is the defense hasn't played as well as they would have hoped. And I think that goes to the roster construction.
A lot of that stuff is fair, but I would say personally, I feel like they got to the Super Bowl in spite of Zach Taylor, in my opinion. He is when you have the talent, and the Bengals, if you look at just quarterback and skill positions, the Bengals are as talented, if not more, probably the most talented team in the league. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I don't know who could be better. Like, obviously, the only quarterback that's definitely better is Mahomes, and he doesn't have the skill position talent that Burrow has. You want to say Josh Allen, he clearly doesn't. Lamar Jackson has the running back, but the tight ends, but he don't have the wide receivers that Joe Burrow does. So it's the best collection of quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. Defense is another story. And yet, in big spots, he consistently plays conservative football. It drives me nuts. You go to the Ravens game. I mean, what are you doing? I know McPherson's a good kicker, and it was a bad snap, whatever, but I got Joe Burrow. He's thrown for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. I can't play conservatively. Let's go for the kill, and he just doesn't do that. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think that your frustration is shared amongst a lot of folks, and even the players after the game, after that Baltimore game. Tee Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase both said they wish they would have thrown it a little bit more. Zach doubled down on that, and I think where you can't criticize Zach a good amount this year is that the fact that in these one-score games they just haven't played as well as they should, and quite frankly, this team should be better than its record indicates.
No doubt.
And it reminds me a lot of 2019, where that team went 2-14, but on paper that was not a team that should have been that bad. And so I think that's going to be the thing to watch as we continue the season. If they don't finish or don't have the record that they should, and they lose some of these one-score games, then you're going to be asking a lot of questions about Zach, who's going to be under contract, I believe, for at least another 2 years. And you look at it, and they shouldn't have lost to New England. They shouldn't have lost to Baltimore, shouldn't have lost to Kansas City.
That's right.
And at the end of the year, if they don't make the playoffs, there's no excuse for not winning those games when you were in the positions that you were in.
That's right.
And that goes back to, in-game decisions and kind of how those things played out.
Yep.
Ben, let me ask you about the defense for Cincinnati. Obviously, things looked a lot better last week. Obviously, they got the dub against the Giants. Do you think that they figured things out defensively, or do you think the Giants just not that good of a team?
I like Daniel Jones a little bit more than most. I think when you take Malik Neighbors out of that mix, obviously a much different offense. And don't sleep on the fact they didn't have Devin Singletary either. So I think Daniel Jones probably wasn't his best performance. But in the building in Cincinnati going into that game, they felt a lot of confidence. And a lot of guys told me, with our defensive line as banged up as it is, it's just really hard to get anything done. Now you're getting, you got Sheldon Rankins back last week, B.J. Hill getting healthier, Sam Hubbard getting healthier, and then Trey Hendrickson can be a wrecking ball on the edge. And I think that, he deserves to be in the same conversation as Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. I think that Myles head and shoulders above everybody in the league, a first ballot Hall of Famer, all decade guy. Whatever accolade you want to give Myles, I think Myles might be the greatest athlete in the world, quite frankly. Like the stuff that he does at his size is just ridiculous. But Trey's a really good edge rusher, and I think that because he doesn't do a ton of media, maybe doesn't get talked about as much. But I think that defensive line, if they can play a little bit better, that will help the whole unit. Cam Taylor-Britt needs to be better. He just hasn't played up to what we thought he could, and I think that goes all into the defensive conversation. And for me this week, the matchup to watch is, can they stop Nick Chubb? We'll see what kind of usage he gets. I know that our guy Daniel Olafusi said that Ken Dorsey's still looking at his management, what that will look like in his first game back from the ACL. Will he have a full workload? I think that the run defense has been the most suspect part of this defense, and they've got to be able to stop the run and keep that bottled up. Otherwise, you're going to open up a scenario for this awful, awful Browns offense to potentially score enough to win.
Right. See, and by the way, Tyvus, your boy Sam Hubbard, he can't play a lick.
Hey.
He stinks.
What's wrong with you?
It was just good last year. What happened?
What is wrong with
Sam
you?
Hubbard. Am I being unfair, Ben?
Yes.
Hey, so Sam has not played great. I do know that he suffered a hamstring injury that was more severe than we thought. I don't know how he's playing on that, quite frankly. It's very difficult. It was a grade 3 hamstring injury, so it was a tear there. Just did not require surgery at the time, and he's just going to have to play through it. And especially at his age, you look at his contract situation, I imagine he wants to be out there for as much as possible. I think he has played better in recent weeks. You're seeing him get more strength back and try to manage that hamstring that he suffered in training camp. But I think that it's funny, early in the year, he goes, he told me, he's like, I don't even want to know what my win rate is because it's got to be near the bottom of the league.
Yeah.
You owe him an apology.
All right, he's hurt. Whatever.
I mean, look, man, I just joked with Bull. I said, man, if y'all lose to this Browns team, he's going to have to be some changes somewhere, Bull, because
they struggle in Cleveland.
I'm trying to look for an angle.
They struggle in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's it.
Ironically, we've had to turn our headlines in. I'm actually picking the Browns to win this game. And I don't know how I'm gonna find the data to back it up, but other than like, Nick Chubb come out, they ball out, and because the Bengals inexplicably just played garbage against the Browns. It's just I don't know what happened.
So weird.
It's just crazy.
How do you explain it, Ben?
Well, I can give you a path if you want to justify a Browns victory here. You got Nick Chubb getting some carries early. They get a nice touchdown offensively somehow. Maybe get a DPI down the field. You have Chubb run it in. You get some 7 points. We get a Denzel Ward pick 6. that maybe gives you 14 points. You go down the field, scratch a couple field goals out, 20 points you got there. And then Myles Garrett does what Myles Garrett does, a guy who has had the best numbers against Joe Burrow by far. You look at it, nobody does what they do against the Bengals like Myles Garrett does. You talk about 8 sacks in 6 games, 16 quarterback hits, according to ESPN research. That's double what anybody else has on Joe Burrow. And then when Myles Garrett gets the first pressure, Joe Burrow's QBR is 0.3 on a scale of 1 to 100, and his completion percentage is under 30%. So it's not insane to think that the Browns could come away with this, but I agree with you. There's really no excuse to lose to this Browns team. I mean, this offense is terrible. I feel bad for some of the guys over there because it's a talented group. I like those receivers still. I think that Elijah Moore, Jerry Jeudy, there's still some meat on the bone there. That defense is really good. I mean, they know that this is one of the best defenses, I still think, in the league. When you talk about Myles Garrett, JOK got a lot of praise from Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher. That secondary is good. I've always been we've seen what Denzel Ward can do. I've been high on Grant Delpit for a long time. And I think that there are the pieces in place. And if the game falls the way it does, for the Browns to potentially give the Bengals some fits when they really have no business to do so.
Now, Ben, before I toss it to Bull here, I gotta get you. You cannot say that you have Tee Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase, but you like our receiving room. Back to you, Bull. Out of no way, shape, or form that can be possible.
And Ben, I know he's coming up for a contract, so maybe that's probably a factor. But I think since Tee Higgins has come back, he's playing the best football I've ever seen him play. Last year, he was dropping balls left and right. He don't drop anything now, it seems like.
Trying to get paid.
You agree with that or no?
No, I couldn't agree more. I thought last week, I like Deonte Banks. I think he's a good corner, a first-round pick last year. Tee Higgins really did a good job. And you look at what the offense has done since he's come back. Nobody's been happier but Ja'Marr Chase and Tee Higgins or Joe Burrow to have T out there. He just opens up the offense a lot more. And listen, 2 things can be true. The Bengals can have a really good 1-2 combination, and the Browns can also have some receivers who maybe are not playing up to their potential. It would help if they had a good quarterback. That would be one thing. It's just really hard to evaluate. But T, I think when you look at what he's done, the ability to be tough at the catch point, he's always been a good route runner. Joe Burrow poked fun at the fact that his pop-up game, getting up after getting hit, has gotten a lot better since his rookie year. And T, when he got to training camp, we asked him, why did you sign the tag when you did? You could have let it drag out a little bit more. And he goes, listen, I knew a deal wasn't getting done, so let me just lock in, stay out of the headlines, put my head down, go to work, and show why I'm one of the best receivers in the league. And, Ja'Marr Chase said that at his locker last week. T came out almost with a point to prove that he's still one of the best in the game. And Joe Burrow said it yesterday that he feels like T's playing with a chip on his shoulder this year. And you're seeing it, like you said, Bull, no drops, really aggressive, and been the difference for why this offense has been so good when he's been out there.
And I know the Bengals are going to, obviously they're going to screw it up and let him walk. They're not going to sign him, which I guess I could live with, But if they let Ja'Marr Chase go, then they might as well fold up the whole franchise. I mean, that's just beyond. Are they going to sign him eventually, or are they going to F that up too?
That's a great question. I thought it was really interesting that Adam Schefter, the night before the Week 2 game against Kansas City, had a report saying Ja'Marr Chase felt misled in the contract negotiations. And, I thought from the beginning it would be very difficult for both sides to get a deal done given where they were on numbers, given how the Bengals have structured things. I think at some point, we'll see if Joe Burrow looks good the whole year coming off the wrist injury. Maybe you feel more confident in giving a wide receiver that kind of money that he's looking for, because the thing is, if your quarterback isn't really 100%, isn't the same guy coming off a very severe injury, do you feel confident investing that kind of money in a wide receiver? As we just talked about with the Browns, you can have good receivers and guys you think who are capable, but if the quarterback can't get you the ball, then what's the point of having them? And this year, Joe Burrow's done a really good job. I told him point blank, I said, listen, man, you're playing a lot better than I thought you would, given what we saw in camp and week 1. And I think he's really deserves a lot of credit for how well he's played off an injury that no quarterback and thrower has ever had. He's managed that really well. But with Ja'Marr, you got to look at it and go, is it going to be worth the money long term? Do we want to tie up this kind of capital? Yes. And especially, I think the one thing you want to look at is, how much if Joe Burrow is that guy, and we've seen this in Kansas City and Buffalo, that those GMs have decided that we feel like we've got a difference maker at quarterback, we can go find other receivers and still be successful. Josh Allen this year, number 1 in total QBR. Patrick Mahomes has won a couple Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. And I think that that's a point that you got to note as well, especially when you look at how good these receivers are coming out of the draft each year.
You're not cheering me up there.
Bull,
Ben. You're not cheering me
listen,
up. Listen,
Ben, tell them if they move off of T and Ja'Marr, they got, what's his name? Elio Sova. What's his name?
Andre, I can't remember how to pronounce his name.
Yoshivas.
Yeah.
I like him. He's a nice player. But Ja'Marr Chase and Joe's they're buddies. You can't break them up. That's terrible.
It's going to happen.
Oh, my God.
Ben, what's the one X factor? What's the one matchup that you think decides this game this week?
Yeah, it's got to be Myles Garrett versus Orlando Brown. I think, we'll see where Myles ends up lining up. Does he end up going off against Amarius Mims, the rookie? Do they want to put him over there? I think, that'll be a really interesting conversation for Jim Schwartz. But our numbers got Orlando Brown as the best pass blocking tackle in the league this year. He's been really good. Myles, we know what Myles brings to the table. If the Bengals can find a way to just not neutralize, but just make him less disruptive than he's been in previous years, they'll have a really good shot. Otherwise, if you feel like Myles is going to get home and Dalvin Tomlinson's, and that whole defensive line, that whole group is pretty solid. And so if they're going to be able to get home and you feel like you can play press coverage and really make those windows tight, and Cleveland's always known for having physical corners, that could be a problem. And then, like I said, there is a pathway for, if the Bengals offense can't get firing against this defense, for Cleveland to get things done, even though Deshaun Watson is playing at the level he's playing. So I think if you're the Bengals, you've got to find a way to keep Myles at bay, run the ball well enough to make them honest, and make sure that defensive line does not wreck the game.
Ben, Mike's giving me the we got to go signal, so I'm going to wrap up on this. This is the most important question. What would be a more dominant victory? You against Mike in basketball for him, or you against Mike in boxing for you?
Oh, that's a good question. If I'm understanding correctly, I feel like Mike in basketball, if we put the gloves on, it's no contest. The trophy sitting on the desk. So, just wrap them up. Let's get ready to go. Just, I'm ready to serve a 2-piece when necessary, Mike.
Yeah. All right.
It's the 6-pack of McNuggets.
So you're saying that would be the domination, would be the boxing. Thanks,
a couple
Ben.
extras. Hey, Ben, when you're in Cleveland, hit me up. We'll get some food before.
Yeah, for sure. Always a pleasure hopping on with y'all.
See you again.
All right, thanks, Ben. We're going to do 2 reads real quick.
Yeah, go.
And then get into our ALCS predictions and wrap up with some super chats. Our first read, Arena Club. For most of us that like collecting cards, the idea of spending $2,000 or more on a prized rookie card just isn't in the packs. I love collecting, but that's some serious money to drop. But thanks to slab packs from arenaclub.com, it's now possible to score gem mints for a fraction of their retail price. Every card that I listed was a hit from last week's Arena Club slab pack drop. Arena Club is the only repack that provides real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and a clear hit rate for each one. Arena Club slab packs are revolutionizing the repack game with transparency. The Arena Club grading process is accurate, fast, transparent, with a full grade rationale provided and explanation of how your card was scored. So whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Card is the card collecting platform that you need to check out. And right now you can get 10% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/LockedOnNFL and using promo code LockedOnNFL. That is arenaclub.com/LockedOnNFL. Code LockedOnNFL for 10% off your first purchase. Today's show is also brought to you guys by Game Time. If you're looking to get tickets for a Cavs game, a Guardians game, a Browns game, a concert, a comedy show, there's no easier place to get your tickets online than with the Game Time app. And right now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play even easier than before. You can see your view from your seat before you buy. You can toggle off the pricing so you can see the final tally, not some surprise fees at checkout. Plus, with the Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the entire ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LockedOnNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LockedOnNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. It's almost game time for Game 5 of the ALCS. Game 3, of the ALCS. And, guys, let's make some predictions. Who wins tonight, Guardians or the Yankees?
Well, I think we as a panel excuse me, that's a lie. 2 of us on the panel had our minds made up that the Guardians was going to win. Mm-hmm. But then I just got on Twitter and I see Tom Withers show that Aaron Judge is currently right now taking batting practice.
Getting lathered up.
Because
And that's going to make you change your mind.
And they said it's not his norm.
With a nice little sweat going.
No, it's not going to make me change up entirely. I said earlier in the show I thought the Guardians would win 5-3, 5-4. Guardians.
All right. 5-4 Guardians.
I ain't gonna be no troll, man. You're not gonna get me on it, man. I'm gonna pick the Guardians, man. But I'm gonna tell you what, if y'all lose this game, I'm picking against y'all on Friday.
That's a fact.
It's not happening. Y'all about to get that smoke show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Guardians. They got to get to 5 runs. I think they give up 3 home runs, but they all solos. 5-3 Guardians. Make this thing interesting.
Listen to me, Guardians. Listen to me, Guardians
It sounded like
fans.
you was about to listen to me.
I hate the Yankees with every fiber of my being. I hate their fans. I hate their media members. I hate their players. Even the players I don't hate, like Aaron Judge. I mean, like, he's an extremely likable guy, but I still hate him.
You
because he's
hate
a New York
Juan
Yankee.
Soto?
Juan Soto. I mean, the Yankees, unlike the 90s, actually have a fairly likable team.
Jazz Chisholm?
He's not likable. I don't like that guy. He rubs me the wrong way. I have no respect for any player that plays with a head
Is it
condom.
his name that you don't like?
No, you play with a head condom, you're soft. I got no patience for you.
He has
Please.
colorful shoes, too.
The amount of trash talking that I will be able to do from these arrogant Yankee fans and arrogant national media
You sound
who
like-
think the Guardians are such a joke. If the Guardians come back and win this series, I am going to break the records for trash talking every effing New York Yankees fan on the planet. I'm going after everybody. I'm making it personal. I'm going after their moms, their sisters, their wives. All of it.
You sound
it's all
like
fair game.
G with Deshaun.
I didn't say, wait, you gonna put me in there? What you talking about?
G. Oh, if Deshaun go out there and throw for 4,500, I got the receipts. Oh, y'all, I'm gonna tell you right now, unfollow me on Twitter. That's exactly what you said. And they sitting there like, ha, we told
and
you.
you know what? Everybody, I got more followers. I got like 10,000
That's
new
right.
followers.
That's
You're
right.
a bomb, G. Ha! Take these victory laps.
Guardians will win tonight. Come back and win the series. Come on! You can do it. Let's go. All right, Mike, what else you got?
Got some super chats here. Also, I'm picking the Guardians to win too. I think Matthew Boyd throws a hell of a game tonight.
Wait a minute.
7
Hold on.
strikeouts.
Wait a
Keep
minute.
talking about these pitchers.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. We can't do that. I'm gonna take the Yankees then.
Well, no,
because
we all did. We didn't all pick the Guardians in game 2, and they lost anyway.
I'm taking the Yankees.
Okay,
Because anytime there's a clean sweep on this panel, it doesn't happen. So
All right.
I'm taking the Yankees.
Switching up.
I'll give you a little
5-2.
spoiler then for tomorrow. It is not a unanimous panel on the Browns game when we do our headlines on the WKYC show. It is a 3-2 split. I'm not going to tell you. G already told you he's picking.
G already said.
I'm
I'm not going to tell you
And
the other
G
one.
sends it, unlike the rest of us, G sends his headline to the group.
That's actually true. G
Yeah,
did send it to the entire
The
group.
entire group. I need to know where I'm definitely standing at.
All right, let's get to some super chats.
Yeah.
We got 5 here to wrap up. Halim Youssef says, I didn't get a chance to comment on yesterday's show. It's okay to be down on the Browns, but you guys way underplayed how bad Amari Cooper has been. 10 drops, mostly on 3rd down. Eric Owen says, Jose and Naylor need to come up big tonight. The difference has been that star players have shown up for the Yankees and the Guardian stars have not. 3-3, 2-2-3 Leakin in response to our conversation about who will step up as the next wide receiver. Yeah, the name is 2-2-3
Crazy.
Leakin.
That's crazy.
Jamari Thrash, Mike Woods, even KT. Where they at?
Mike Wood still with us?
Is he on the practice squad?
squad. I'm not sure if he's been cut from the practice
Who's
squad.
KT?
Kadarius
Tony, bro.
Oh, God.
Man, they're gonna get those dudes and run them as straight receivers.
We're complaining about drops. You want to put Kadarius Toney out there?
I mean, at least
That
give
guy
him
can't catch a cold.
He can catch an end around.
You know what you could do? Throw him a drag or something and let him make some people miss.
What's funny is he's great at catching punts. He's a really good punt returner.
and
Another guy wears a head condom. Every time you see a picture of him, it's in the head condom. I don't like it.
It's the Florida
I
guys that
wore
get
a
cold.
head condom.
These Southern guys, they're soft, man.
I wore a
I-
head condom under my.
Where's Ryan
diploma.
Day? Is he from the South?
No, he's from New Hampshire, isn't he?
Actually, I think you're right. Last one. Bull, I'm not sure if you saw it this morning, but ESPN pushed one of their notifications from the app saying the Guardians' path to work, the Guardians' path to signing Juan Soto as a free agent. That was what ESPN pushed today.
What?
So Donnie M said, how would this Guardians roster look like, or what would this Guardians roster look like with Soto on it next year? Would we be the World Series favorites?
No. It'd be a big difference. They would not be the World Series favorites, but they'd be higher up. But there's a zero chance they're going to sign Juan Soto. So Juan Soto's going to get a $600 million contract.
I feel like
Man, him, Quan, if Rocchio play like he play, Jose.
man, look, you're gonna have
How long has we got Lane Thomas for?
I don't remember his contracts. I think he's got one more year.
Wow, with Lane and Watson,
Man,
woo!
they-
Josh Naylor still be here too.
Naylor's not coming back. He's not gonna be.
Well, he's still under contract.
They're not
for
gonna
a
pay
year.
him.
No.
No, they're not.
But I wouldn't anyway because he's fat and he's going to age poorly.
Man, that would be nice.
Man,
Talk about
he
sticks.
Man, he got bigger, man. But we
Travis Bazzana.
Listen, unless they grow these homegrown sticks.
Travis Bazzana.
Yeah, okay. Like, here's the thing. They should have been playing these young guys. Like him, I'm playing him now. Think about it.
What?
Is he any worse than Jimenez?
You need to stop. Jimenez,
At the plate?
double RBI when it happened tonight.
At the plate?
Right now, that contract extension for Jimenez doesn't look
It's looking wild.
Yeah.
Listen.
I liked it at the time, but
he make Omar Vizquel's stick look crazy.
Oh yeah,
That's wild.
see it all the time.
And he batted
Peace.
nice.